Right. Call to order the Tuesday, March 24th, 2026 Planning Board, Zoning Board of Adjustment of Flemington Borough. I've got a new OPMA statement behind me today. Thank you. This in-person and virtual meeting is called pursuant to the updated provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Both adequate and electronic notice of this in-person and virtual meeting has been provided by way of publication in the Hunterdon County Democrat and the newspapers beginning in January 2026. In addition, notice of the meeting was posted on the door of the Borough of Flemington Municipal Building located at 38 Park Avenue and any handicap accessible services. Posted on the municipal website, provided to the municipal clerk and distributed to all persons. Online you can hear me, right? I just got a message that you can't hear me, either of us. If any, requesting copies of the same. This meeting is being recorded with both audio and video and may be rebroadcast. This meeting is a judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to the issues that are relevant. What the board may legally consider an judicial decision and decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. Cool. Please rise as you're able for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we then have the roll call? It's latest. Sorry.
No, that's fine. And Arnold here. Councilwoman Engelhardt here. Ms. Giffens.
Yes, here.
Mr. Campion.
Here.
Ms. Weitzman.
Here.
Ms. Swingle.
Here.
Mr. Shaw.
Here.
Mr. Joshua.
Here.
Mr. Eckel.
Here.
Benning is excused. Mr. Schlang is excused. Mr. Havers is excused.
Attorney Kaczynski.
There.
Engineer Clerico.
Here.
Planner Kyle. Engineer Troutman.
Here.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, here we go. Finally, a little late today, 7:10. Apologies for that. But here we go. So item 1 on our agenda, as always, is a period for public comment. This is a period of public comment for items not currently on this agenda. So if you have a comment for the planning board in general, please feel free to raise it now. If there's anybody online, use the raise hand feature. If you wish to be allowed to talk, make a comment. Seeing no one online or in person, we'll move on to mayor comments.
I don't have any comments, and I do have a question for our attorney. I hate putting you on the spot, going to beat it. I was just following up, I know, I was just following up on the resolution compliance hammer ordinance.
Yes, so I had sent out my comments, I think it was to you and Susan after the last meeting. And it was just a very small red line, it just changed one section. I had sent it via email.
I don't remember seeing.
We're having trouble.
Both of us
You
have
send it
similar
again.
experience.
Why don't I, is there another way I can send it to?
Just try it again.
Okay, okay.
Just try it again and
It was very, do you remember getting any email from me? Okay.
So if you send it again, text me and
I'll
ask
do that.
me if
Perfect.
I got it,
I'll
that
do
way
that.
I can let Susan know it came in.
Yep, that's exactly what I'll do.
Okay,
Good idea.
no problems.
I've been getting them, but yeah, it's,
I get most, but not most.
I still didn't figure out how to get a little notification on my thing that tells me it's a new thing. So I have to remember to go grab it.
Yeah.
Which means-
Okay.
Okay, it's no.
Yeah, I don't have anything here for the week after the last meeting, Kara.
Yeah, I know I sent it after, when I sent all the resolutions, I sent that out,
Did you?
so. Alright, I'll do it again.
Send it, text
I found
me.
this.
Hey.
I found it, yeah,
What's the date?
March 16th.
I got some.
Alright, so maybe we'll look, no, yes, we'll leave that.
Or maybe it was in, it just like got dumped.
It could have,
Back,
yeah.
You know, like. Where's it? That's what it says.
You wanna forward that to her? You want me to
No,
resend it?
do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get it down. Just let them know it's left. Oh, no, we couldn't go your email.
Yeah, so, yeah, just send it
I'll
again,
resend
I'm
it,
getting an
yeah.
error.
Yeah. Alright, so no comments to the email on that?
No.
Okay.
I take this out there for a little bit, so I can get this section.
Got it. So, okay, moving on, item 3, council comments.
Two things. Number one, I did report to the council last night, that we as a board are considering working on the escrow ordinance, the 800. And just kind of warn them, that that's gonna be coming down the pipe. You know, we don't wanna necessarily nickel or dime people, but we wanna make sure that we are similar to other municipalities. So just warn them that was coming down the pipe. The other thing that we had on our agenda last night was a resolution to consider directing the, I like to rather say requesting that the planning board do a study of the and a little big long of block and lots that's commonly known as Turntable Junction. And so we have passed a resolution authorizing and directing the planning board to undertake a preliminary investigation of the study area considered as Turntable Junction in accordance with the local redevelopment and housing law. And I stressed this last night, it was passed unanimously by the council members. We have had of late a lot, we've always had a lot of complaints about this site, but we've had a lot more lately. And it's been the 3 years that I've wanted to at least see where this could take us. So, you know, not everything's on the table, we don't have any plans, we don't have any ideas, we really just want to gather information. And that's why we asked of course, according to the law, asked the planning board to do this study. We basically just want to start sending smoke signals out to the general public, to the real estate market, to the retail market. To say, hey, you know, this is an opportunity zone municipality, and encourage investment in our community. So this is literally just step A of years and years and years. We know it took 20 years for the Union Hotel. And we just want to make sure that, you know, that everybody knows that we're doing this in good faith, and we really want to get everybody's input. And this is just the first step for the, you know, the law requires us to do so. So hope everybody will support trying to get that site, no matter who owns it, improved. Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, I need to just follow up on that if I can,
Sure.
to my board, because apologize to you if you feel that I haven't passed this information on. But we were not given the respect of being told this in advance, other than being on the agenda. And I only received the resolution after it was passed today. And there is actually, I'm going to suggest there actually needs to be you need to redo the resolution because it's not actually clear. You can pass the red line on to if you want, but here, for instance, it says condemnation and here it says non-condemnation. So it's not, the resolution doesn't give clarity to exactly what you're asking right now. We are of course open to doing what needs to be done. This will be a thing that will be, we're going to have to put, because we weren't given advance notice, it's not on the agenda. So I told members it's not on the agenda and you don't have it.
Sure,
It'll be on.
I hate to correct you, but this is a condemnation resolution.
Right.
What this says is, and the way the law reads is when you do a redevelopment area, you have to assert whether you're considering it for condemnation or non-condemnation.
Right.
That's why that language is in there.
All right,
This is
well, we were all
for,
confused.
this is an eminent domain, and although this was passed unanimously by council, Councilwoman Fasaro went on record stating she will never vote for eminent domain on private property. But she supported, and anybody can watch the conversation, it started like 10:30 PM last night.
I think even later.
So, maybe later.
Yeah.
Um,
And I wanna make this
Oh,
clear, I have no intention of this being on the agenda, this should take as much time as it should take. If it takes 20 years, it takes 20 years, I don't, certainly don't wanna see that happen again. But
it's not
this is no rush on your part, this study should be done thoughtfully, carefully, and as much time as everybody needs.
Can I just ask a quick question then? So I just wanna be clear, so in the heading, it talks about whether it qualifies as a condemnation area. And then it says the same thing in the fourth whereas, but then when we get to the therefores on the second page, it says. Any redevelopment area created shall be a non-condemnation area.
Mhm.
And then in paragraph 3, it authorizes and directs the planning board to investigate whether it constitutes a non-condemnation area. So is it the intention that it should be investigated for condemnation or non-condemnation?
don't look at me, I have nothing to do.
No, I'm just, that's what I
I'll be
think
happy
the
to answer the
disconnect
question.
is.
The intention was with condemnation. In case we needed it, not the intention of doing that. That being said, if there's some sort of error in the resolution, let's let Chris Corsini take a look at it.
Right,
And if it has to be done again, we'll have him fix it and we'll send it right back.
Yeah,
Like I said, we are not in any rush, this is not urgent.
Yeah,
And we'll stress that again.
okay.
Not
absolutely, and starting off, I mean, we all know, starting off with the clarity and everything being right is the best way to get to the
Yeah,
end of it.
That's the only reason I didn't send it to the board, because I wanted out. Professionals expressed concern and we wanted to make sure it was right before I sent it out to the rest of the board.
Sure. Under,
And I wouldn't expect you to change the agenda for that.
under point of law.
Yeah.
So if they send us an ordinance, we have 35 days to react, respond for consistency. Is there no timeline in
There's
this?
no time frame on this.
There is none.
It's not like a referral for consistency where there's a 35-day statutory period.
It's not the same.
Once it's referred, what I would suggest is, and I think I agree that we have to change those non-condemnations in those follow-up paragraphs to
Yeah.
condemnation. And then, send it back to us. The board should acknowledge acceptance and, the resolution essentially authorizes me to go forward with the study already. But the board should acknowledge it and, officially authorize me to conduct the study.
Yeah, so that's what, to the board, that's what we would do, we'd put it on the agenda next time, and the discussion will be, do we basically authorize our planner to go ahead with creating a report? That's what we will be up for discussion at the next meeting. Basically, right?
Yeah, and I think. The board is, Council President's correct. You're being directed to conduct the study.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what the outcome of the study is gonna be, but we have to
law-
perform the study.
The law directs you to do it, so it's
Correct.
not a matter of, it's a formality, it's not a matter of whether you can or can't. We need this information to be able to make educated decisions going forward, so.
Correct.
It's the first procedural step, it says shall throughout the whole statute.
It's totally procedure.
And then a procedural item on that, Susan, if you could check with the board and with the council. I did hear mention of my budget, but this wasn't mentioned when I put together my budget. Do I
We
get
actually
extra
talked
budget
about
money?
that, we
I did know
talked
that.
and
Yeah,
recognized that.
Like,
We actually recognized that last night while we were talking about the budget,
Right.
so we respect that, and in fact, it did kind of elongate my council report. We went through the planning board's budget, and one of the things, although I wasn't on the planning board the last couple of years, one of the things I reminded my council members is that planning board budgets, because, Beth was very good, Beth Herbert, our newest council member, is very diligent about looking back, and she's like, well, why is it up and down and up and down? I said, because you never know how many applicants are gonna have per year and how long they're gonna take, and so I said, yeah, planning board budget's definitely up and down more than the others, so I asked them to recognize that when we were reviewing the budget last night.
all right, so we'll be open to that when we get a quote for how much it might
Thank
be,
you.
and then I'll pass that along with the full. Thank you. All right, so hopefully the board is clear on that. Any questions, feel free to ask at any time. Just so to jump in on your comments, do you have any other comments?
No, that was it.
Okay, great. All right, let's move on to item 4, Dennis, HPC comments. I know you've got comments today.
Yes. We had a very busy meeting on the 18th. We had 5 applications, the most I've ever seen since I've been on the HPC. And they were sent out to the planning board. 12 Kapner Street was a color change that was approved. 168 Main Street, new windows were denied with recommended solution that would be acceptable to the HPC. They will come back after exploring the recommendation. 5 Academy Street drainage catch basin work was approved. 10 Mine Street painting new door was approved. 35 Maple Avenue new windows were approved. In addition, John Hatch will work with Jim Kyle to put together the 2 lists that were requested at the last planning board meeting related to the historic district address listing updates. So a public meeting can be held after that's done. And then just a reminder, the HPC is sponsoring a house and garden tour on Saturday, June 6th from 11 to 5. Anyone interested in volunteering, they get a free ticket. Just let me know. That's it for me. Thanks.
Okay, great, thanks. And Caitlin did a good job of passing on the HPC things, so everybody saw those. So we're moving along with all, that's great. Thank you. Item 5, environmental committee comments. Melissa, anything?
No, just that we're starting work on planning the cleanup day. It's still in the initial phases, but other than that, no comments.
Okay, great.
Can we change that agenda? You're a commission, not a committee.
Oh, commission. Okay. All right, item 6, professional reports. Do you have any reports other than what's on the agenda today?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you. Item 7, approval of minutes. We've got 3 lots of minutes now that we're catching up on. So let's look at the February 10th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Anybody any comments or amendments needed to be made on those? If not, can I get a motion?
Move.
Can I get a second on that, please?
Second.
Thanks. You're two going to be busy.
I have a feeling we're gonna do this.
Call the roll on that, please, Caitlin.
Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Yes.
Mr. Campion,
Yes.
Ms. Giffen,
Yes.
Ms. Weitzman,
Yes.
Ms. Swingle,
Yes.
Mr. Schob,
Yes.
Mr. Dashna.
Yes.
Mr. Eckel.
Yes.
All right, same thing for February 24th of 2026, regular meeting. Anybody got any comments or additions or amendments that need to be made to those? If not, can I get a motion for that, please?
So move.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Can we have a roll, please, on that, Caitlin?
Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Campion,
Yes.
Ms. Giffen,
Yes.
Ms. Weitzman,
Yes.
Ms. Swingle,
Yes.
Mr. Schob, Mr. Schob.
Yes.
Thank
Can you
you.
hear me?
Mr. Dashna,
Yes.
Mr. Eckel.
Yes.
Thank you.
And finally, same with March 10th, 2026, regular meeting. Any comments, questions, additions? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
I move. Engelhardt moves.
I just started to write that down too early then.
Sorry.
And can I get a second?
I'll second.
Who was that?
Hannah.
You threw me off. All right, messed me up.
Keep her on her
Great
toes.
lady.
Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Campion,
Yes.
Ms. Giffen,
Yes.
Ms. Weitzman,
Yes.
Ms. Swingle,
Yes.
Mr. Schob,
Yes.
Mr. Dashna.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 8, resolution PB 2026-12, the resolution to, this is to memorialize the decision, isn't it, this one?
Yes.
To amend the bylaws adopted that were adopted. Were they adopted on July 28th?
They were the original that was adopted,
Oh.
the amendments that we adopted on March 10th.
So now the new date will, when it's
Well, that's when we first adopted it, so this is, the resolution says to amend the bylaws adopted on July 28th, and I have in here when the amendment was done, which was March 10th. And just wanted to have a resolution, so it's, we have to fill that.
Going forward, we'll refer to this date when we go to the bylaws, because they're amended as of today.
I guess we can, I mean, usually, unless you amend and restate, we usually say. Bylaws as of this date, as amended on this date and on this date, but, you know, I'm not into making it more difficult, if you wanna call it March 10th, we could do that.
And then it takes effect tonight.
They probably March 10th, but you seem very excited, so we can have
I
to take
am.
it back tonight.
I am.
We pulled her up very late last night.
Yeah, so,
They took effect on March 10th
okay,
when we did the vote, that's just memorializing
we
that.
just have to let applicants know when your testimony
Yeah.
cannot start by.
Correct.
I will make the
Our new
motion.
bylaws
Good to know.
tried to have us getting out of here a little earlier.
We're a little sunky up here tonight.
I get it. I get it. I got late last night myself.
Respect for all our
And so
volunteers,
this
early starts.
motion by Carol, who did the second?
That, yeah.
We didn't do anything yet, I need to call for a motion to
I'm sorry, I
that
thought
resolution.
the mayor did.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. And a second,
Engelhardt.
The tired ones are making the motion a second.
they're punching you right now.
We're not punchy, we're just exhausted.
Okay.
Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Campion,
Hold on.
Yes.
Ms. Giffen, Ms. Weitzman,
yes,
Ms. Swingle,
Yes.
Mr. Shob,
Yes.
Mr. Dashna,
Yes.
Mr. Eckel.
Okay, it just has to end with Dashna, because Eckel
That's
didn't
enough.
vote.
Oh, he wasn't, okay.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody, very excited, thank you to the committee that worked on that, we finally got that to a resolution, there we go. Sorry, I was trying to make a pun, it's too early. Item 9, public hearing, it was an extension of the public hearing that was opened on December 14th, yeah, correct, was the date, is that the right date? It's the first one, 16th.
The first date was, we had completeness, right here in July.
No.
That was way
the
back.
Final.
December 16th.
We have December 16th.
Yes.
Then we're good. That is an extension. I just wanted to be clear, we're an extension of that public hearing. This is for Spark Car Wash LLC application 2025-02, lot 49, lot 6. Do we need to check that we have notices and jurisdiction?
All the notices were extended. The only thing I did want to put on the record, my last note said we had an extension granted to the end of February.
Oh.
We're obviously granted till
Yeah.
tonight. We'll probably ask for another one
Yeah.
if we proceed, but I just wanted the record to have
Yep.
that be there.
Okay. So I was gonna be happy.
All right, terrific.
So I understand you did and did we do all engineering testimony? Was that?
I gotta give a quick, no, I'm gonna give a quick wrap up, just to kind of start up. And good evening, everyone. My name is John Wichiscala. Here tonight on behalf of Spark Car Wash. It is our pleasure to be back here in Flemington. This is an application with respect to property identified as block 49. It's actually lots 5 and 6.
Sorry, thanks for that.
Yes, our main property address is 294 Route 202. And really the focus of this application is lot 6. That is the property that's been developed with the former TGI 5As, which became a Red Crab restaurant, which became a vacant restaurant. The property's been vacant for a number of years. But again, the majority of the improvements are on lot 6. The reason why lot 5 came into it is we've extended the lease line into lot 5. And the board may recall it's created a number of issues or a lot of things we had to deal with relative to lot 5 as a whole, surveying information, things that we went through. That's why Ms. Kaczynski had referenced July, because we were dealing with completeness back then. But anyway, we were last here December 16th. That's when we really started this case. You heard detailed testimony from Matt Canali with Spark. He went through all operations testimony, how these facilities work and what you can expect to see if this project is approved. And you also heard from our project engineer seated next to me, Doug Wolf, who went through very detailed testimony. We touched in part on Mr. Clerico's reports. Board had a lot of questions. There were some concerns that were articulated along the way. I can tell you some of the highlights. The building setback out front wasn't really the building setback as much as the extent of landscape buffer and things of that nature. The building as originally designed, we actually had the building within the easement area. We've got an access easement, that main driveway coming off of Route 202. And it also benefits the shops in Flemington. Those were arrangements that were made for access between the properties back in, whenever TGI Fridays originally came in before the board. And we had a fair amount of discussion relative to the water reclamation system, water usage, et cetera. And we were asked to address those. And listen, we are very happy to be back here tonight because that was December and it is now March 24th. And honestly, my client spent 3 months with their engineers and their other professionals to come up with a, I won't call it a redesign, but amending the layout with respect to this. I do not want to steal Mr. Wolf's thunder here, but what we were able to do and the revised plans that are before you tonight, we were able to push the building back. We were able to enhance that landscape buffer out front significantly. Candidly, I think it's probably one of the most buffered in this design sites that you're going to see along this stretch of Route 202. We moved the building out of the extent of the easement and have been able to continue to maintain the nature and extent of access that the shops at Flemington have enjoyed since the early 2000s, as well as there's another easement to the benefit of TD Bank, originally Commerce, I think it was. So we really made a lot of great revisions with landscaping enhancements and the like. One of the things that we did early on, and Mayor, you were probably the first to comment as related to water reclamation systems. And by the way, it's very easy. You're a car wash operator to come in with a pamphlet from a manufacturer, and they say right in there, it's this can accommodate 80%, reductions and so forth. But equally important in that is you have to design to meet those manufacturer specs in order to accommodate that. Spark brought on another engineer from Boulder, Brian Jorgen. He's the director of the wastewater engineering department division. They met with some of the manufacturers who are the top manufacturers of these systems and so forth. And what we've been able to do through that process is to redesign the system. A little bit about that from Mr. Wolf to achieve those reclamation numbers, to bring down what our anticipated flows are. We met with our professionals met with water and sewer just today, and public works rather. We today received a review report from Remington Burnick regarding the overall design. They acknowledge actually our discharge is going to be less than the allocation that presently exists for the going back to the original TGI Fridays, and we'll get into that. So we are.
Did you receive those?
I'm sorry.
I think it's the letter. I got the letter. I don't know if the
I don't know if it was sent to the whole board though, because it just came into
It
that.
came in today, it was directed to the board, yeah, so. But we'll speak to it, in terms of this evening, how we intend to proceed. I'm gonna recall, Mr. Wolf to go through the plan revisions, so forth. We've had our traffic engineer, Matt Seckler. Who'll go through, his findings and so forth. Oliver Young is our project architect, who's here as well. And finally, we have John McDonough, and we are joined by Mr. Grogan, who I referenced earlier. He was also involved with Mr. Wolf relative to water and sewer discharges that are associated with this project. We also have a number of people from Spark. Actually, everybody in the room is at the moment, so is here on behalf of the Spark team. We're observing otherwise, so. Unless anybody has any other questions, I'd like to recall Mr. Wolf. I'll remind him that he's still under oath from back in December. It's a new year. Mr. Wolf, I assume
The only thing I just wanted
licenses?
to, real quick.
Yep.
We had 3 more reports that were issued by the planning board professionals. I just want to mark them. PB 10 will be Mr. Kyle's planning report dated March 6, 2026. PB 11 will be Mr. Clerico's report dated March 17th. And PB 12 will be Mr. Troutman's report dated March 23rd.
Terrific.
And if you guys need,
Where-
the next exhibit is A11.
Hey, I had A9 as
Did
my
A9?
last one. I can't remember what A10 was, but we'll pick up an A11 now.
I'll tell you, if you want to know, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, we can
Yeah?
catch up on it later.
All right, we'll do it later.
Usually pretty good with jotting those down, but I probably missed
I had to
it.
go back and look at notes,
So,
so.
yeah, me too. So. And Mr. Wolf, you are still a licensed engineer, state of New Jersey, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, terrific. The floor is yours.
Awesome.
We did, I think we figured out the computers, so you should be able to bring the plans up on the screen.
I'm looking to share screen for all those virtually.
I might have to give you
I
permission.
sent a request. I'm not sure who that goes to.
And John, just let me know if he does anything, obviously, that wasn't submitted to the board, then we'll mark that.
Yes. We're gonna pick right up with the exhibit.
John, I'm sorry, how do you spell your last name?
WYCISKA.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought we had God's report that came through when we got the.
I have all the word James, I only have J's.
No, it's hard to see, that's the trend.
I think it's March 17th.
That's the date of
Yeah,
extent, but when did it, was it sent to us? When did it get sent to us?
18th. But it looked like it was Bola, but it wasn't attached to the top.
I only have 8 times.
Yeah, you see this, the trend there, that's God's report. Yeah, it looks like it's all part of the Bola thing.
Yes, it does.
Is it the one with the 2 attached?
It's
Okay,
the
L
L
small
the March,
drainage
it says resubmit, it says resubmission, Sparks resubmission, so it looks like it's all Sparks. But it's not.
Yeah, the update completeness.
I see.
You see it?
Right, and Jim's was sent when? The 6th of March?
That's when it was dated, yeah. I thought they were gonna be here on the 11th of March. So I rushed to get a report out and then learned they were coming on the 24th.
So there you go.
I'll find what I need.
Right.
Copy
Checking, huh?
Want a copy of what I have there?
Jim's reported.
I
Yeah, I know it.
Oh, okay, I had a hard copy, I didn't know if you wanted to see
I'll
it.
take it.
Yeah.
Sure.
These are always good. Those old folks over there. Oh, yeah, okay, so now,
Thanks.
all right.
Right.
Okay, sorry, we need to make sure we're looking at the right thing so we can give it the proper respect. So apologies for a few minutes.
No worries. Can everyone virtually see? I want to make sure
Yeah,
before you study.
what's up there is what is going out to everybody. That's like going out to the interwebs.
Is that how big as you can make it?
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll best talks to it.
Zoom a little bit. That is as big because we have to keep things on the
Let me-
side. Unless
me
we
see
can
if
get
I
rid of
can
the tools
zoom.
on the side temporarily. Right?
Oops, wrong one.
No, that's good.
Okay.
That's nice. And you just go navigate around.
I didn't
Trying to get it
touch
perfect here.
a little bit more.
How's that?
Close.
That better?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm just gonna reiterate quickly what you're looking at here. Proposed Spark Car Wash, 4,432 square feet, with ancillary parking, drive aisles, signages, utilities. Now 23 vacuum stalls.
And just before you continue,
sorry.
just identify what this is. I know it's gonna be marked as exhibit A11 with today's date.
Yes.
If you can just explain what it is, the date on the plan, revised by date, etc.
Of course, sorry, I jumped the gun there. So this is the overall site plan rendering exhibit. We'll mark this one A11. Prepared by Bowler, dated 3/24/2026.
And that's the original date, not an updated date?
3/24/2026 is the current date of the exhibit, yes. What this is, it's a colorized version of what was submitted to the professionals in the Board of Law. So what you're looking at here, proposed Spark Car Wash, 4,432 square feet, ancillary parking, drive aisles, signage. Utilities, now 23 vacuum stalls. We did reduce that number from 25 down to 23. That is due to this increased landscape buffer along Route 31, which I'll get into shortly here. And lastly, a kiosk and a drive-through area. Quickly, just walking you through the site. Layout's the same generally as it was before. As John mentioned earlier, we did shift the building up to the north about 6.5 feet to remove it from the easement area. We also shifted the left portion of the layout, which is where the pay station queuing is. There's 2 lanes, a member and a non-member lane. We shifted that to the right to create a larger landscape buffer, as we discussed in the last hearing. Additionally, what we did is we reconfigured the circulation on the top of the page there. You can see previously there was a cut through from north to south. Now we blocked that off. We added a bunch of landscaping there, and we more or less redirected traffic per recommendations of the board professionals. What that also did is that improved and increased the landscaping across the site. Also, the trash enclosure was relocated due to this reconfiguration as well. You will see, I want to focus on the buffer area a little bit here. We really spruced it up. We increased the width. We created more of a diverse planting per recommendations of the planner. So we made that quite nicer than the existing condition, which doesn't have any buffer and there's no plantings out there, to even greater than what it was before. And I'll get into the planning numbers here shortly. Other than that, we did propose a new reclamation system. You're going to see that in the middle of the parking area here. Previously, we did have a 3-tank system. This is now 4 2,000-gallon tanks. And we are able to now achieve 80% reclaim. I'll get into a little bit more of the details here and the new flows that we will be proceeding with. But other than that, the layout is generally the same as what was testified to previously. And we believe this is a much improved layout than prior. All right, I'm going to get into the bulk requirements here. I'm going to flip to a new exhibit. This is going to be the overall site plan rendering exhibit. We can mark this one 812. This is prepared by Bowler Engineering and is dated 3/24/2026 as well. I'll try to zoom in a little on this one. It is the same sheet as before. All right, in terms of bulk requirements here, I'm going to run through some of the things that did change from the prior hearing and testimony. Starting with lot 6, minimum front yard setback is now 85.1 feet, where 35 feet is required. This did increase slightly due to that buffer shift. Also, minimum side yard setback is now 40.3 feet, where 25 feet is required. This was improved from the previous site plan by shifting the building out of the access easement, as I outlined earlier. Additionally, minimum rear yard setback, we have an existing non-conforming condition of 37.8. We are requesting variance for 10.8 feet, where 50 feet is required. And this is really due to that interior property line for lot 6 there. Additionally, maximum impervious surface area ratio, existing non-conforming condition of 0.81. We are proposing 0.72 and are requesting a variance for this condition, where 0.7 is permitted. Note, we are reducing impervious coverage on lot 6 by approximately 3,431 square feet and providing substantial green space and plantings throughout. Also, this reduction in impervious was increased from the prior submission due to that, primarily that buffer increasing in width on that frontage to the left. Additionally, in terms of accessory buildings, we are requesting a variance for accessory building in the front yard with a setback for the kiosk and canopy that is equal to 29.9 feet. That's on this left side here. That also did increase from the prior testimony and plan because we did widen that buffer area. We pushed everything back into the site to the extent possible there. I talked about the landscape buffer a little bit, but just to reiterate, there's an existing non-conforming condition of 14 feet where 35 feet is required. Currently, there is no landscaping in this buffer along that frontage there. And we are proposing in this exhibit here a 25-foot buffer. along with 5 canopy trees, 4 ornamental trees, 5 evergreen trees, ornamental grasses, and 64 shrubs, and that is just within that buffer on the northwest side of the page there. Sorry, north is to the top of the page, just so everyone's aware. I didn't clarify that previously.
Plan north or actual?
Actual north. All right, moving on to lot 5, for the most,
All the trees you just described are going down on that northern border. Or in that,
Western.
the western border.
Was the 31.
it would be northwest to west, yes, right there. That's in, if you can see my mouse here, right there.
I can't.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. I'll try to direct you as best I can
You
here.
need a pointer.
The long stick.
Jake.
Yeah.
You're about to
Come on,
Yeah.
Dad.
I think Brian Budney always had a pointer. Had a laser pointer.
Oh, laser.
He has a laser actually.
There you go.
Oh.
You're
It's all about lasers.
Well, will it work?
Yeah.
On a TV display?
Well, that's another thing. I think it'll work on that.
Sorry.
You can get up and point it. Worst case, you can get up and point it out. I know it's probably not coming up.
Yeah, yes, please feel free. If you don't know where I'm talking about, it's right here. If you have a question, I'll get up and down all night.
Let's go up.
Okay, man.
Alrighty, so we talked about lot 6. That's primarily in here. I'm just gonna get up. Lot 6 is here. That's what we just described. Lot 5 is this other portion over here. In terms of lot 5, most of the bulk criteria really is to remain unchanged. The one item that is changing is the maximum impervious surface ratio. Existing non-conforming condition of 0.85 here. We are reducing this to 0.81, so that is going down. And we will be requesting a variance for this condition as the permitted ratio is 0.7. To reiterate, we are increasing the square footage of landscaping on lot 5. And this landscaping is increasing about 6,364 square feet, which is even more than we testified to last time, and that's primarily because of this increased landscape buffer area that was recommended by the professionals there. In terms of parking, we'll start with lot 6. Existing parking is 22 spaces. We are proposing 23 vacuum stalls with 1 ADA, and the required parking there is 18 parking spaces. And in terms of employees will park in the overflow parking within lot 5. That's this area over to the right. Moving on to lot 5, which is the larger lot. Existing, there's 210 stalls. We are proposing 165. And required is 76. In terms of outdoor storage, just quickly to hit on this, all non-permitted outdoor storage on lot 5 is to be removed. I know there were some questions previously about this.
Can you go back to the number of stalls? How many there were and are?
Yes. So for lot 6, there's 22 existing. We're proposing 23. And the required number is 18. For lot 5, there's 210 existing. We are proposing 165. So we're vacating or removing about 45.
What's required?
And 76 are required for lot 5. In terms of outdoor storage, I talked about the non-permitted outdoor storage will be removed, and most of it already is already. And then in terms of a secondary trailer, there is 1 permitted secondary trailer on the site. Let me try to pan up a little bit here so you can see where that is. All right, so there is a permitted outdoor secondary trailer up in this corner. It's currently occupying 6 stalls.
That's associated with the motorsports business, and you may recall back in December, we spoke to that, and then there was an email communication from the zoning officer that indicated that that was authorized.
Yes, we have an email from Dave Giuliani, 10/6/2025, which outlines this permission there. In terms of loading, we are not proposing any loading spaces. We're proposing 0 and are requesting variance here. The use car wash doesn't require a loading stall. One loading space is required in this case, but just to make everyone clear, there's really just a Sprinter van that comes once a month to deliver some small materials that they need. Any loading operations in Lot 5 are going to remain unchanged. Moving on here to drainage and stormwater. Per recommendations from Mr. Clerico's office, a water quality unit is being proposed now. It was not previously to provide TSS removal for the proposed vacuum area. That's going to be proposed somewhere in this area here. I'll try to zoom back in because I know this is quite grainy.
Maybe you go back to exhibit A11 unless you need to.
Let's go back. Yeah,
Everybody needs to look at the bulk.
I'm gonna go back to exhibit A11 here. It's the zoom a little easier. All right, so I talked about that water quality unit that's proposed in this area. Other than that, there are a few grading areas Mr. Clerico is looking to further clarify and for us to provide additional information on regarding topography. We do agree to provide a zoomed in plan along with any additional information he is looking for there to satisfy these comments. Additionally, regarding any potential groundwater contamination, as Mr. Clerico noted in his letter, a phase 1 ESA was performed, as well as a phase 2 being recommended due to historical spill at a nearby cleaners that was noted by DEP research. We did perform a phase 2 ESA to further investigate any potential contamination. I did read and review this report. Conclusions are that contamination was not detected in soil or groundwater at concentrations exceeding DEP's thresholds. Therefore, no further action is needed in this case. All right, moving on to utilities here. Let's see. Okay, so we heard your concerns during the last hearing regarding water and sewer. We are taking it very seriously, and we have put in, like John said, lots of work over the last few months to really nail this down and figure out what we can do to reduce these flows, reduce our discharges to the extent possible. We had meetings with several reclaim manufacturers across the country to discuss what our options were and what we can do. We believe now we've come up with the best solution for Flemington and for this project. So after discussions with these reclaim manufacturers, we are providing a new and improved reclaim system. Like I talked about, it's 4 exterior tanks. There's another tank inside the building. But this system now does achieve 80% reclaim in terms of wash water. We also met with Public Works and RVE, the reviewing engineer, over this past month to discuss this approach prior to submitting, see if they had any concerns or questions. So we talked about it, we got on the same page. They reviewed everything we submitted, and they did issue, and by they I mean RVE, they did issue a new letter today, dated March 24, 2026, which essentially outlines that all comments have been addressed while recommending allocation of temporary reservation for water and sewer service, as well as a recommendation for endorsement of all TWA forms. Furthermore, they've agreed that our proposed system will reclaim 80% wash water and that the new proposed sewer discharge of 8,555 gallons per day, that's our new sewer discharge. If you recall, previously it was 11,553, so that number's dropped by a few thousand there. That new discharge of 8,555 is less than the existing allocation on this property. The existing allocation on this property is 9,600 gallons per day. And then just to go over the water numbers as well, old gallons per day that we previously submitted and testified to was 15,894. Our new water demand for this project is 10,796 gallons per day. So we reduced that number by 5,000 gallons per day. We have a very detailed calculation that we submitted to RVE and Public Works that they reviewed, and they agree with our analysis and backup information as well. I have the details on that, but I'm not going to get into it unless there are further questions here. Moving on to lighting quickly. We're proposing 7 area lights at a compliant mounting height of 20 feet. 25 vacuum lights are proposed in the vacuum area and will be shut off after operational hours. I want to make that note clear just for anyone questioning that.
What time is that?
I'm sorry,
What time's operational hours?
8 to 8, after 8 o'clock. We're also proposing 3 tape lights at the tunnel entrance, exit, and the office. We are requesting a few waivers for lighting, mainly due to the property line that cuts right through the vacuum area there. One of those being maximum illumination at the property line, where 0.1 is required, and we're proposing 16.7. That's really because the lighting levels are measured directly under this vacuum light, unfortunately, at 5 feet above grade. So that's if you were essentially a foot or 2 away from that light looking directly at it. Additionally, we are requesting a waiver for maximum illumination within vehicular use area of high activity. 2 foot candles is allowed where 15.9 is proposed. And lastly, maximum illumination within a general parking pedestrian area of 0.9 where 15.9 foot candles is proposed there.
Those areas out.
Point those areas out
Yes.
there.
So the first one, maximum illumination at the property line, that's really only in this location here. That's because that property line cuts straight through where those vacuum lights are. Secondly, the 15.9, that's within this area. It's near the same calculation, but it's just a different criteria in the ordinance. That's correct.
We allow
2
one.
2 foot candles.
2.
Yes. And that's only due to the vacuum lights that are in this park, so that when people are cleaning their cars out, they're able to see what they're doing.
Is that like the equivalent of lights on like a night baseball game? I mean, what is that equivalent to?
I wouldn't say it's equivalent to those type of lights. It's
Just a brightness level? Is it like,
3,000 Kelvin, so it's a yellowish white, I'd say. Yeah, something like this above.
something close to this level of light?
In terms of color, yes.
Where I'm talking about brightness.
It's hard to give you a direct comparison and brightness.
Okay.
It's proximity based. So it depends really how close you are. I want to be clear though, these light levels that, especially the one at the property line, it's being measured from the exact point under the light, 5 feet off the ground. And I can ask you, but I think the lights are between 6 to 8 feet high. So if you're measuring 5 feet off the ground, that's, if you were to stick your head a foot or 2 from this light, that's why it's so high.
Our
But
architect
to be
will go over the lighting details too, by the way.
Yeah, and.
Yeah.
To be clear, you're having to ask for this waiver, if I'm correct, because of the specific. Because it's 2 plots together,
Yes,
like if you were just fitting this onto 1 plot, we would ask you to keep a zone around that is much lower. But because your operations cover 2 plots, then essentially your active operations, we'd normally allow that level of light within the
yes,
plot, because it covers 2, now it's coming up to the.
That is correct.
So that's,
yes,
so that's why it's like an issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 foot candles is like an exit light is 1 foot, you can't see anything.
got it.
It's, we're normally asking for nothing on the edges, but because these 2 things are that, it's high.
So basically, your edges are really the center
Yeah.
of your site.
Yes,
So that's
exactly.
It's an unusual thing.
Yeah, so basically where the center of your property is lit up and.
in the
it's not
high,
really the center of your property, it's actually 2 lot lines
Yeah.
next to each other.
yes,
I
that's
mean,
correct.
that level is not, it's not unusual to have that level line
No,
in the
it's
center
not.
of a plot.
Yeah,
It's just
correct.
Because it's just special.
And to be clear, the light levels at the other property lines are near 0. We want to make sure of that. All right, I'm gonna move on to landscaping here. As stated previously, existing site is majority impervious coverage. It's really all asphalt. There is no buffer along this frontage here with landscaping, that is. We're proposing a very nice buffer along this frontage. We did increase it from the prior testimony and hearing. That's a 25-foot buffer being proposed along with a filtered buffer strip of plantings per planner's request. Again, this was further increased to 25 as previously stated. We are requesting a waiver for parking trees being proposed on the perimeter of parking area and not within the parking area. And that's because plantings are proposed around here and not within. However, in total, we are proposing 16 shade trees, and this is for the proposed development, everything you can see in color here. We're proposing 16 shade trees, 6 evergreen trees, 287 shrubs, where 22 are required, 71 grasses and 106 perennials.
How many trees are required?
In terms of trees, 16 shade trees are required. We're proposing 16. 6 evergreens are proposed where 6 are required.
Say that 16 or?
16 are required for shade and 6 are required for evergreen. And we're meeting both of those requirements.
Right.
And the shrubs were considerably more than. In addition, irrigation will be provided throughout the site, providing adequate watering and vibrant plants and grass areas. So once this is done, it's going to get watered, it's going to grow very nicely, and it's going to look very pretty. Other than that, just to recap on ancillary approvals, we have Hunterdon SCD certification dated 4/1/25. We have Hunterdon County Planning Board approval dated 2/12/25. We have DOT Loney dated November 17, 2025.
Letter of no interest, correct?
Yes, correct. Letter of no interest from the DOT. And additionally, we have a revised fire approval received February 27, 2026, based on this latest layout that I've shown here. And that concludes my testimony.
From the borough.
From the final videos, correct. That concludes my testimony.
Okay, thank you. Well, as Mr. Dushner explained to you last time, what we usually do is then we'll take questions on this testimony.
Sure.
For our professionals first, then the board, then the public, and then we'll move. So, professionals, any questions for this witness? No comment, Carla. Bob?
I don't think I have anything in the way of questions. I raised a number of items in my report. I believe I heard testimony on both of them. I have to go through each individual item. I believe I heard testimony on pretty much all of the items. I did, well, in terms of the parking variances, I did raise the question. Maybe we're going to hear it from the applicant's planner as to the fact that the on the coverage variance, as you heard, we have 89, 87 more parking spaces that are required. But basically, the parking that's out there was constructed for the restaurant use. Restaurant use is being eliminated. The applicant's proposing a building, albeit on one of the properties, or in this particular situation, even though they're 2 separate lots, they're in common ownership, they're non-conforming. There is a question of whether there's a question of merger or not, but I'll defer to the attorneys on that. But even that fact aside, they're leasing part of lot 5. So in reality, it's one homogeneous project, albeit split on 2 different properties. Which again, I've indicated they've generally addressed the stormwater issues. I did offer some comments about grading. They indicate they're going to revise the plan to address those. Probably the I'm called substantial, but because the issue that really kind of still remains here is the fact that we have all this excess parking with no use that it's serving. And we're being asked to approve coverage variance for the property. That's probably, I would think, the threshold question I think the board would have to, kind of deal with. I'm sure if we go through this whole report, there's some other technical stuff in here. Applicants agreeing to comply with whatever questions and stuff. There's a number of things in here that I indicated should be conditions of approval. Again, I tried to focus on the items that have been resolved, the items that are still remain for consideration by the board. So aside from going through my report point by point, I think in broad terms, I've heard testimony on most of what's here. Again, what I haven't heard here is the item relating to parking. The fact that we have all this excess parking that's going to remain, albeit we don't have a use anymore that's associated with that demand for parking.
And if I may just add in on this, and, you know, as I said at the outset, when we were here originally, at the end of the day, this is a long-term lease. We've got a commercial landlord on this, this isn't a property acquisition. And the area that we control coming in on this application is what you see here. We do not have total site control over lot 5. Don't know what our landlord's plans are in the future. They've obviously got those existing businesses. We can't control, and I understand the point. It's like, gosh, you have all this excess parking. Why not bank it? Why not convert something back? But that's not something we have control over. At the end of the day, it really was the TGI Fridays lot. And we bumped out a little bit, into the balance, into an area where we were able to actually reduce impervious coverage. That whole landscaping island that you see on the upper right-hand side doesn't exist today. But that's a challenge that we have, Mr. Clerico. We don't have site control over that, to come in and say, sure, we can reduce it elsewhere on the site. What we've done is to try to work to the greatest extent possible and within our leasehold area with this significant increase in landscaping, stormwater management facilities, for a use that is a permitted use in the zone district. So that's, as the board hears this and continues to hear from our other professionals, just understand that's the backdrop. It's not for a lack of willingness on behalf of Spark. But we don't own lot 5 is in because we've got a quarter acre or whatever. I'm not sure what the acreage is, about a quarter acre of lot 5, 2/10 of an acre is included within the development on the site that has traditionally been developed for restaurant uses. I think it was a diner originally.
Yeah, we met in December, this issue of compliance and that the adjoining lot would be part of this entire consideration. You and the noodle on that or look into it. Where did we land on that?
I thought I was gonna get something just kind of outlining the thoughts of Lochner and the application of it here. There's a couple criteria that need to be reviewed, and size of the lot, whether the lots are obviously in common ownership, whether or not they're developed, and those are things that need to be vetted. I want to hear what you have to say about that before, I give the board my thoughts, because it's kind of their case to put forth, so I'd like to see that. I don't know if that's going to be coming as we go forward.
I'll just say, in many respects, it's form over substance. You've got this building, you've got the other buildings. This is lot 6, has traditionally been its own lot. It was developed with a diner. I don't know, when they came in with TGI Fridays, doctrine of merger, it was same size lot, same lot area requirements. It was not viewed that lot should merge in. It has functioned in that. But I can tell you, it is common ownership. To NJN Associates owns both lots. Again, we're a leasehold interest. Whether it's even our option to agree, well, sure, just merge it in. The reality is, if the 2 lots were merged, we eliminate we cut out 2 variances, maybe a couple waivers, because we no longer have to worry about that lot line with the lighting overage. And we no longer have a rear yard variance. The rear yard setback variance, because it's part of lot 5. So, doctrine of merger, I guess if the board at the end of the day says these lots should be merged, and that's what the law says it is, I guess so be it. All I know is we don't own the property, NJN does. They've had separate tax bills for lot 5 and 6 since time immemorial with the prior commercial uses here. And I think that's just about it. If they're merged, what I said before is still the same. This is the area that we have an entitlement to seek approvals for. with the permission from the property owners to do. And what we've tried to do overall is, through this project, we have made certain conditions better. We have brought down the impervious coverage. Albeit not, probably what everyone would like to see, but it's been a developed site for a lot of years, mostly impervious coverage. We're taking care of everything on our site and more.
Both lots are and have been developed.
Correct.
Both lots are undersized according to the current ordinance.
I don't know what lot 5 is.
I just wanna get those answers. I think all that's gonna factor
I
in.
don't think lot 5 is, I think it's lot
Six.
6.
It's undersized.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Well. No, if one is undersized and non-conforming and the other one is not, I mean, it's still the same concept because. But would it make a dramatic difference? Probably not. We'd just be talking about bulk standards for one overall tract versus two.
And it's actually, I think, probably safer for the board to grant the variances based on the two lots. Since they are already developed, as opposed to viewing them as one, because that doesn't have as much of a paper trail and comfort level, I would say.
Now, how does it, because they're only leasing part of lot? That's it. Right.
Five. All of lot 6 and about a quarter acre, a little less of 5.
Lot 5, doesn't that complicate that? Because to Bob's point, if they were joined and they were leasing all of 5 and 6, they wouldn't have an issue, they would be able to expand that area of landscaping, but being as, basically the red line is what they're leasing, right, on that plan?
Yeah, they're making
Does that make-
improvements outside their lease area
A
too.
good small amount, yeah, as.
You expanded the lease area to incorporate everywhere that you're making improvements.
Correct.
Okay,
Right.
so that's no longer an issue.
I'm not so sure.
not exactly.
Not exactly.
Oh, I thought that's what the testimony was.
Operationally, yes. So
Operationally, yes.
this is the lease line here. All operations are staying within that.
Okay,
However, there is some-
Existing landscaping
No,
in the
that's
block.
proposed.
So that's proposed.
So you are opening up, to Bob's point.
Per
you
the
are
request
opening
of the
up some
board,
the impervious.
yes, per the request of the board to increase landscaping there.
Yeah, so they're removing about 3,400 roughly square feet of impervious coverage on lot 5.
Right. So I guess to Bob's point, if they're doing it there north, why don't they take out 4 or 5 more spots and get these 0.81 down to 0.7? Or I don't, well, actually, they do more than that, but I see what Bob's point is.
Just a point of clarification, the impervious coverage that you're removing is really a very large building that pays a lot of taxes. And you're replacing it with a smaller building that won't, because parking lots don't pay taxes. Is that not true? I mean, that's what you're really using the impervious coverage, is you're removing a really big gradable.
It's a building plus asphalt areas for parking that's being converted to landscape.
Give them an operation.
No.
yeah, it's not really, well, we don't usually focus too much on
That's what I'm just thinking.
I'm just saying, but it's, where they're making up that difference is they're removing a big building.
Right, but is this something we still have to clarify then in terms of the lots or not?
I would like to get a little more information and for us to talk depending on where we are at the end of this meeting, because I was kind of, waiting for something to start the dialogue, but I think we can do that. Let's see where we are.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you for the testimony on that. Okay, Jay, you got anything for this witness?
I don't.
Okay.
Can I just clarify something for the record? Is it your testimony that every recommendation that's in Bob's latest letter, you guys are willing to agree to or have as a condition?
That's
Perfect,
correct.
because I had that in. Perfect, thank you.
Is that all that parking on the east side, is that everything, like you're showing the entire site, or is there more?
No, there's more.
There is more?
If I go back to my exhibit A.
Lot 5.
Yes, to McDonald's, the area from there to McDonald's.
So this is A12. I'll outline this quickly. So this is lot 5, all the way down to here.
And that's all parking?
That's all parking lot. However, there's a portion of it that is leased by McDonald's
Yes,
that we have no control over.
yes.
But it goes all the way up here to this building, yes. So we're removing the parking in this area here.
And how many rows of parking go from your site to the end of, on the west, I mean, how many rows is that? I mean, I can't see it from here.
Yeah.
One full bay and then half a bay on the east side, abutting.
Two about.
Correct. So we would be removing about, you see this bay here, that in the existing condition is essentially copied over. So we're removing about half of a full bay, I would say. Which equate, it's roughly 45 spaces in total.
Mr.
John?
Thanks, Mark.
John is fine, Mayor.
Mispronounced name and land.
You know,
What just go?
some of my dear friends still pronounce my name wrong.
You said that this was a long-term lease, how many years? is it?
20-year base term.
20-year base term with renewals.
Thank you.
All right, professionals.
Uh, Matt, could you just go back to the zoomed in version? I don't know if I missed it, but could you just describe? So you guys have essentially lengthened the queue by 5 more vehicles there, and you took, I guess it was Jay and Bob's suggestion that we reconfigure. Can you just describe that for the board and then just talk about the only comment wasn't addressed in our memo was any potential conflict between trash pickup and customers exiting? I mean, I'm assuming you guys can do trash pickup when you're not open.
Sure. So yeah, I'll hit that one right on the head. We are going to do trash pickup outside of operational hours. So the pickup would come between 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning. So there would be no conflicts for any passengers or, employees in this area. And the trash enclosure is here. We did run a garbage truck and it can adequately make that maneuver. Regarding this area, in the existing condition, cars come page south and they can get through here. We blocked that off per recommendation. I think it was Mr. Troutman and maybe Mr. Clerico as well, to extend this landscaping here to essentially remove that conflict. That enabled us to elongate the queue here down to this point. We can fit 23 vehicles in this queue up to the tunnel entrance. So yes, it did elongate it, I believe, by 3 cars. And then it does reroute that maneuver this way. And if needed, they can make a right in, but it's unlikely cars are going to be coming from top of the page there.
Okay. The only other thing for the board, maybe you guys know, I keep trying to figure out if there's actually a resident living in that house. Yeah, I thought there was. I've never seen a car there, but there's garbage cans and there's curtains on them. So I think one of the things we raised in the prior review, if you see the lone tree that is proposed on the bottom side of the page, there's a landscape strip that's on this property. And there's a row of yews that are probably 3.5 feet tall, roughly. This is the only residential use in this area. I'm not quite sure how it's still there, but. So I think normally we require buffering between residential and non-residential uses. There was nothing proposed different than what's out there today. So it's just really a question. Look, it's not buffered. There's a fence along the TD Bank side, a solid 6-foot fence. It's just a question of, do we want to try and enhance that landscape buffer there or not? I mean, we're on a interstate highway and surrounded by commercial uses on all sides, so I don't know if it's really going to accomplish anything.
There's a fence on the other side.
It's on the south side, on the TD side. There's no fence, but there's like a row of yews that.
Yeah,
right along there.
there is I think you're calling it hedgerow or something along that line right here. I want to note there is limited room between the curb and our property line. We could improve that, but we'd essentially have to rip out what's existing to fit something new in there. So just offering that as consideration.
It's established kind of to provide them privacy.
Is that on their property or your property?
It's on our property.
Is that a requirement that you design it?
That was it.
If you left the one, that's something resident here, I wouldn't want to suggest anything to the border without them being aware of it.
And it's well established, I mean. I prefer old trees and newer bushes than this.
Right, and if they were all dead or something.
Yeah, yeah,
they
but
propose
they're
they do it, but there's nothing wrong with them, and the resident isn't here to say that they're complaining about they want new landscaping and everything.
And I think the only other thing to be cognizant of is, you know, the state noise code is applicable here. So at the residential property line, you guys, I mean, you're not open past 8, so it's probably less of an issue, but it's still 65 decibels, you know,
You
daytime.
know, we have to comply, you know, with
Okay.
the state model noise code. Which-
I mean, is that something you guys have looked at or not really?
Our architect is gonna.
Yeah,
touch
he'll
on-
speak.
Okay,
on the
perfect.
noise.
Yeah,
We'll talk
thumbs
about
up.
that then. Okay.
Thank you.
It's a regular question, it's a valid question.
Right. Professionals. All right, so I'm gonna go to the board now for the questions for this witness. Question, yes. I'm gonna go online first, so, yeah, online people, Dennis raising his hand, I can just about see him.
I had a question on the reclamation. I probably need to be educated, but you testified that it's 10,796 gallons per day and the sewer discharge is 8,555. That's like 80%. So I'm sure I'm missing something, but I would have thought the sewer would have been a lot less with the reclamation. So can you just explain to me how that works? Why such a high percentage is going into sewer?
Yes, I can touch on this, and that is a very fair question because I asked the same thing when I was reviewing these numbers. When you talk reclamation, it more or less extends the usage time instead of a direct 80% comparison there. So what it does is we're using less water per day that goes out of the system. But I think if you want more details on that, I would ask Brian from my office as well to really dive into that because it is very complicated and it's not really a one-to-one in terms of if you're looking at the water versus the sewer, it's not as simple as a multiply it by 0.8, 0.2 scenario there.
He'll be testifying tonight?
I'll bring him up to address. that.
Okay, okay. Oh,
Yep.
wait, thank you. That was it for me.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Anybody else on my Melissa? Ethan, or, sorry, I'm limited because of Jeff, you have anything? No, John?
No, I do not.
Okay, Hannah? Head shaking. Mike?
No, they answered the questions during our meeting last week. Thank you.
Perfect, good to hear. And then who did I miss? I missed Melissa?
I'm good. Dennis actually touched on the one thing that I was going to ask for clarification on. So,
All right, perfect. All right, so in the room, Susan?
I apologize because I wasn't on the board in December, so you might have gone over that. I thought it was a completeness hearing in December, so you might have gone over this, so I apologize.
All good.
Repeating. Are you guys reviewing are you presenting the signage or somebody else in the?
The architect is gonna
Okay,
handle
then I'll
this.
hold my questions. That's all I have.
You honestly, although you still will have to look at it, they basically adjust, this is a revised thing anyway, so they testify to the revised layout.
Yeah.
So you know, it's
Yeah.
what they testified to, it's like.
Okay.
And you weren't wrong, we did completeness first.
We did.
Well, yeah, that's what
We did
I
completeness first.
yeah, so I didn't even realize I needed to review that, but we'll get to that later.
Alright, Angela, anything that you didn't bring up yet?
So you talked on garbage trucks getting in, what about fire trucks?
Yes, so we ran a fire truck turn. We asked the Flemington Borough to provide us with their ideal specification that they wanted to use. That fire truck can make this turn. He can come all the way up and around, all the way over to this point. He can also get in here and get out. And we supplied that to the fire official. He did review it, and he agreed that he was okay with it. I have an email from him with the date of the exhibit we shared, which matches his plan as well.
So we reviewed the new layout.
Yes, that's
And
correct.
rescue squad vehicles, if somebody's having trouble when they're in that queue or in the tunnel.
He can pull through here and stop, or he can get to the other side here, or he can get all the way up at the top, or these 2 points as well at the exit. So he didn't have a concern about proximity there.
Yeah, I think everybody asked all the questions, so that's all for this. No, it's not. Anybody members of the public? They're very close then. Any members of the public want to ask a question of this witness? Anybody who's online who wants to ask a question of this witness, please use the raise hand function and I will allow you to talk. Let's see anybody online raising a hand. Anybody online? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Terrific. Well, I was gonna go to Mr. Seckler, but I'm gonna call Brian Grogan up. He can speak to that reclamation question that was just raised while it's still fresh in everyone's mind.
Yeah.
We'll do need to swear in that. You swear to testimony you're about to give this the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You spell your last name?
Grogan, Grogan.
And Mr. Grogan, can you please provide the board with a brief summary of your educational and professional background and licenses you hold?
Sure. I am a engineering graduate of Stony Brook University out of Long Island. I've been in practice as a professional engineer, licensed in both New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and various other states for the past 18 years. I've worked for a local health department for 5 years of my career, as well as then in private consulting for the last 15.
Okay, anybody got any questions?
Have you testified as an expert before boards before?
Yes.
And in the field of just civil engineering?
Civil engineering, including wastewater.
Board accept him as an expert in that area?
Yeah, sounds.
So, Ms. Grogan, what is your role? What has your role been? And you heard the question, and I'll just turn the floor over to you to address.
Sure. So I am the director of wastewater engineering with Bowler Engineering. I've been with Bowler for a little over 1.5 years now. I was brought on to kind of add some additional wastewater expertise as an in-house personnel. I was previous to that, over the last 10 years, I was a sub-consultant to Bowler on a number of projects regarding wastewater treatment plants, pump stations. I have done a number of car wash reclamation systems, as well as one reclamation system for a golf course for fertilizer, washing of vehicles and things of that nature. So for this particular instance, as Doug touched on, we have gone with the SoBrite system. We increased to the 4-tank, they call it a Filtermatic system, which allows us to get to an 80% reclamation of the water within the car wash tunnel itself. So part of the discrepancy between the sewer discharge and the domestic water consumption is domestic water consumption includes irrigation, is the biggest piece of it. We also obviously have a freshwater need for the car wash. There is some water that in essence leaves the system on the car. So even though it's dried off, there's water on the undercarriage of the car that equates to about 3 gallons a car. So there is a little bit of a difference between what we're taking in from domestic water versus what is going through the sewer discharge itself. But again, the system of the water inside the car wash tunnel is an 80% reclaim. So that water is in there, it is reclaimed, it is being reused. But there always is need for fresh water for evaporation and things that gets carried out on the car. But that's the basic minor difference there. And again, also that Doug didn't necessarily mention is we do have a 10% contingency on both of those numbers, on sewer and on the domestic water as well.
Okay. Is that all your,
I think so.
okay, the professionals have any questions about this? Okay, anybody on the board? Dennis, did that answer your question?
I understand it. It still seems like a lot of water that we're not. So the 80% is of the 10,796 gallons, right? So that's roughly 2,000 gallons, roughly, that we're not reclaiming. And then there's another 6,000 that is from cars with water and irrigation. Do I understand that correctly?
No, so in one of the reports that we had submitted, there's an estimated calculation there, which goes through a number of different sources for where the water consumption is coming from. So there is consumption for the car wash system itself, so we have to pull in some clean water to, I'll say, further clarify it for, in essence, the final car wash rinse itself, as well as to make up for those evaporative and carried out losses. There is a domestic component to the bathroom use of the employees. There is a filter backwash portion that does get recycled back into the system. But again, there's water that comes out, backwashes our treatment filters. And then there is the irrigation water itself. So we are not reclaiming the irrigation water. We are not reclaiming the domestic sewage. Those are items that are going straight through. So the 80% is largely focused on the car wash tunnel itself, excluding things like the filter backwash, because we do need to bring some water in to rinse our filters. That water does go back through our treatment cycle, but eventually it has to leave our treatment process inside.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fine, I have questions for this specific witness here. Jeff is shaking his head. Hannah, you have anything? No. Don, I don't see you. Scott.
No, I don't have anything.
And Melissa?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Susan?
No, good.
Okay. The only thing I have, and it touches on what somebody else testified, but I think it's relevant because it was related to the system, is so they said, someone said that in order to actually achieve even the 80%, it has to actually be built as correctly as the manufacturer states. So what do we need to, is there something, what do we need to watch out for to make sure it's constructed to achieve that maximum number?
So yeah, so again, we're buying a complete equipment package from the vendor, so we're getting all the pieces of it. The only thing that would be sourced locally, or say the exterior below grade concrete tanks, but the vendors providing us all of the pipe fittings, internal parts, the filters are all coming from them. They will also attend a startup, so the manufacturer's representative will come out here, ensure the system's installed properly, started up properly, ensure proper training of our staff on how to use the system. That's all part and parcel of the package that we're buying. So aside from basic plumbing rules, there's not a lot that the town would need to look at and make sure that we've got the right thing. We are buying that enhanced package from them.
Do they provide you like a commissioning report at that point and to show that it's provided?
Correct, they should be giving us a manufacturer startup after they go out and check the equipment, make sure it's all functioning properly. They would give us like a startup report that's customary.
Is that something that we can ask to like receive as part of our
We
regulatory
can,
compliance or something? We could ask if that's is that a major thing that this board seems to be concerned about?
yes.
So I'm thinking that can provide clarity on that to be sure we maybe make that a condition of resolution. The board can think about that one for our discussion. Maybe.
Well,
that would be the only way we could prove that it's working as we wanted it to.
yeah, but we need to figure out the timing because it wouldn't necessarily be resolution compliant.
Right. Be operational, just like an O&M manual. I mean, it'd be a report that
Like
we
a
would
quarterly type of thing, does that make sense, or is that too soon?
No, they would do, well, they would do it
The commission at the
before
end.
you open. Yeah,
So it-
once it's all ready to go, there'll be a report that says it's working correctly, and I'm just saying, maybe we can ask to receive that as part of.
But they'd have to be running it for a certain period of time.
No, before they open. up.
No, they do a commissioning at before they, like, they do a commissioning because they have to get warranties on this equipment, so that's part of.
But they have to run it.
They have to run it and.
Yeah, that's the thing, it can definitely be.
Yeah,
run.
commissioning, and then they get their warranty.
I think
Wouldn't that be part of the final C of
Oh,
O?
that's what I'm thinking,
Like-
we could get it. to
Yeah, but I mean-
Make sure we have that as part of the CO, so we could ask them.
You could put that in the resolution, possibly that the construction official receives the commissioning report prior to the C of O. It doesn't really,
That's what I.
it doesn't really come back to the board, I
No,
think that's what you're
That's
saying,
what I
right?
meant, it
Yeah.
needs to go to somebody in town that.
Oh, that's what it's called, the committee of that.
Report, a commissioning
Yeah.
report for the reclamation system,
Or startup, yeah.
Startup.
whatever you.
Startup
Right.
report, it's something along those lines. And the other point I do want to make is in the RVE report, I know probably, I don't know that many of you have read it. But they were actually, they're gonna be, well, they say they're reserving the right to monitor sanitary sewer volumes produced over a 3 to 5 year period, so. So that's the
So the report-
borough's own engineers will be monitoring flows as well.
So the report that you got and those numbers assume a reclamation percentage. And essentially, they're gonna be looking at your discharge numbers and they'll see, well, hey, this isn't.
Yeah.
But I guess the point, this is not, it's not a one-to-one, it seems complicated. So Remington Vernick is also gonna be looking at this issue, even as this facility is operating into the future.
Right, and that's good, I like that as well, but there seems to be a particular concern of this board, I heard at the last meeting that like, so that we could, that report is somewhere near 80% at start, whether it stays at and how it gets looked at through your operational period. But I think that would, this seems reasonable, right, something that you can provide.
Yes.
So hold on a second, I think. What Mr. Grogan is saying is. It's not a one-to-one, so the amount of water that they use, we're not gonna see that 80%, in other words,
No,
the
but-
wash tunnel is segregated. I just
I
don't
understand
wanna,
it's not gonna be 80% of their total usage, it's
Right.
80% of what is used within the tunnel.
Right,
It's
but
gonna be
you-
reclaimed, right?
but-
Is that right? Is that what the testimony was, yeah?
is there gonna be separate, is there a way to separately monitor that? That's my point.
Yes.
I don't know that we can actually get that number on a regular basis, so I just wanna make sure it's feasible
No,
before we.
I think we can only get it at this, when they commission. treat it working
Again,
as it should.
the commissioning report would attest to the functioning of the equipment that we purchased, that it was installed correctly.
And that-
it's
yeah.
Operating.
I had certification
So
that.
in essence,
it's
it's no
installed.
different than like an electrical inspection. It's gonna start up, say that all the pumps work, all the alarms work, everything is functioning as it should.
Yep.
Then obviously there's ongoing maintenance that needs to be done on the system on, recurring needs, monthly, weekly, whatever we may need to do, whether it's emptying filters, that kind of thing, changing things. The flow monitoring is more for that we do not exceed the allowance. Or if we did, there would be a license to say sewer into those, that nature. In terms of the long-term monitoring of the 80%, that I'm not 100% sure how we could monitor that. Again, we have some detailed information from the manufacturer of it. Again, that's all dependent on exact timing in the tunnel and, down to how many seconds the water sprays on each individual car. So
Yeah,
again,
we won't be able to monitor 80% through the
Okay,
life.
I thought that's what you guys were
No,
asking,
we'll-
that's why I
no,
wanted to just make sure.
We'll
Make sure
be
it's
able to
working.
monitor their sewage output that is acceptable within, and in order to achieve that, that has to be working correctly. It's just a simple thing.
Yeah, and I think
And I think I got what I.
what they've testified to is this is the best type of design that they could purchase. They're going to do it, it's going to be included, we can include some sort of certification that it's been installed as required by the manufacturer, and assuming that's the case and continually maintained, it should maintain as close to that 80% as possible.
Yeah, that's all I'm just putting to put that in for the
I just wanna make sure that we
For the
weren't asking
permit.
them to do something they couldn't do.
Correct.
yeah, no, I get that. I just wanted it to be added into something that the
Mhm.
permit officer can check for before the.
And I'll reference the
before he-
commissioning startup report too.
Yes, thank you. Oh, Hey, any members of the public have specific questions for this witness? If you're online, don't use the raise hand feature, and if you're in the room, raise your hand or come forward. All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Let's say move on to your next witness, but as before, we usually have a break about 9, but I'm figuring if this is a natural break, we take a quick break now, and then we'll start your next witness after that period, since it makes sense. Does that make sense for everybody?
Sounds good.
All right, let's have a 5-minute break if you want for everybody. Right, pause the recording. Hold on. And then can we just,
We need to wait for the mayor to come back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise she can't vote.
No, I restarted the recording. Hey, can we pull the roll again just to make sure everyone's back to the right vote? Cool.
Mayor Carroll.
Here.
Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Here.
Mr. Campion.
Here.
Ms. Giffen.
Yeah.
Ms. Whiteside.
Here. Ooh, here. Oh,
Ms. Sweeney.
Here.
Mr. Show.
Here.
Mr. Dashna.
Here.
Mr. Apple.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right, at this time I'd like to call Matt Seckler.
Oh, Cara, I think we need to swear in a new witness. That Seckler. Can you,
No, we got
Everybody start?
everyone but John McDonough was.
Oh, that's right, okay.
We're gonna.
Stop the willingness.
Sit back down.
Straight down.
Mr. Sackler, can you please provide the board with an overview of your educational and professional background and since you hold?
Certainly, my name is Matthew Seckler, that's Seckler. I'm with Stonefield Engineering Design, address is 92 Park Avenue, Rutherford, New Jersey. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state, also recognized professional traffic operations engineer by the Institute of Transportation Engineers. Been accepted for over 150 boards as a traffic engineer, including this board on at least one occasion.
Okay, any questions or concerns about the person's witness or their professional standing? See none, thank
Okay,
you.
accepted as an expert in field of traffic engineering.
All right, Mr. Sackler, you've been involved with respect to the overall design and particularly reviewed this with a focus on traffic ingress, egress, generation and the like. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Why don't you please provide the board with an overview of your findings with respect to this project?
Absolutely, and as part of this project, we did prepare a traffic impact study. It was most recently revised, dated February 19, 2026. It was essentially very similar to our earlier version, which was from January 29, 2025, except that the site plan changes you just heard from the site engineer in terms of changing the number of vacuum stalls, the way the access aisle or the queue kind of connects to the internal drive aisles. That type of text was updated within our report. But in terms of the trip generation analysis, anything related to that, it was really essentially the same report as the earlier version. So just going into our report as part of this project, first we collect traffic data. In this case, we collected traffic data back in 2024. It was December 2024, while school was in session, but actually when we count on Saturday, it was during that, your typical heightened traffic volumes during like the holiday season, especially on a commercial corridor like you have on Route 202 here. So the counts were conducted on a weekday, December 19, 2024, from 4 to 7 p.m., which is your typical evening rush hour. And then December 21st, 2024, which was a Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. to capture what a typical Saturday would be. Those dates are also somewhat significant in the fact that typically car washes see their peaks during 2 time periods, right after snowstorms, which typically December might match up some years, and after, during kind of pollen season. In this, in the spring when pollen's out, which is right around the corner, you'll see car washes kind of ramp up a bit during those periods as well. So we were able to capture one of their peak periods in capturing December, which again occasionally does get snow. This year, we obviously got snow in December as well. In addition to counting or collecting that traffic data, we project how much traffic we expect a car wash would generate in the future. To do so, we utilize the Institute of Transportation Engineers Trip Generation Manual, which is a publication where engineers like myself have counted the number of cars going in and out of car washes, and basically submit that data to the Institute of Transportation Engineers. They review the data and then compile it and publish it as part of this publication. which has been accepted by the DOT and all counties in New Jersey as an acceptable way to project future traffic volumes. For this case, there is a land use code, or there's data specifically for this style of car wash, which is an automated car wash. And based on the size of the building and the size of the tunnel, they can project how much traffic a site like this is projected to generate. When our report was originally published, they were on the 11th edition of that manual. Now they're on the 12th. The numbers for Saturday, which is when you typically see their peaks, went up ever so slightly from 74 trips or 74 cars during the busy Saturday peak hour, less to 78. So between the 11th edition and 12th edition, there became 4 more customers that were generated on a site like this. But I just want to put that on the record since that's the newest data that's out there.
So is that per day?
But that's been the busiest hour on a Saturday.
Okay.
Day, the data typically shows between 500 and 560 cars per day would be what you typically would see on a Saturday. Which again, we actually reviewed that with, I know there was some testimony regarding the water usage and things like that. We made sure that our data from our IT manual happened to match the data they utilize in projecting their flows as well. So those data points do match up. So busiest hour, we expect there to be 78 cars on a Saturday. Let's say Saturday at 11 a.m. That'd be the expected amount of traffic we'd expect over that hour. Now, in terms of how much traffic the tunnel could process, because that's obviously the important thing, we want to make sure that the tunnel can process at least 78 cars, so you don't see a queue wrapping around the site. For a site like this with about 120-foot long tunnel, the capacity is about 120 vehicles per hour can process through that tunnel, basically at their normal processing speed. So again, if there is a surge in traffic, if you have a really bad pollen day or a really bad snowstorm day, even at 100 cars, even if we add 22 cars an hour, clearly that tunnel has the capacity to process all that amount of traffic in an hour. In fact, during typical days, we would see about a queue of about 6 or 7 cars during the busiest time on a Saturday. Again, post snowstorm, post pollen in the spring, you may be seeing 11, 12 cars in the queue. And you heard earlier the testimony, we could fit 23 cars within the colorized version of the site plan. And what's also important here is that backs up into basically another internal drive aisle that's rarely utilized, as opposed to some other car washes where when you reach the end of the queue, you're on a state highway or a busier road. Here, worst case scenario, you're backing up into basically a drive aisle that's rarely used. In terms of access to the site, this site, the closest access point is the right-in driveway that's located at the bottom left-hand portion of the exhibit. It's A12, 13.
This is, I think we're looking at A11.
A11? A11. That's the right-in driveway that
That was the first one that we put up.
Yeah. That's the right-in driveway that we're looking to maintain exactly as is. We've received a letter of no interest from the Department of Transportation back in November of 2025, indicating that they agree that there's no new permit needed. Essentially, the amount of traffic being added or the change in traffic from a restaurant to a car wash doesn't create a significant change in traffic flow for the area. So we are good and covered with the Department of Transportation. Obviously, leaving the site from here, any vehicles leaving, they'd either utilize the right out driveway to the north of the Motorsport if they're going north on 202, or basically circulate within the center and come out at the light on Reeville, depending on which direction that they want to go. But again, it essentially operate very similar to the restaurant that was there. You have the right in for customers right on 202. And then if they want to go any other direction out, they basically utilize the rest of the shopping center to reach those points. So again, as part of this study, one of our main focuses on was trip generation, making sure that there was enough capacity in terms of the queuing on site. And again, as part of the study, we determined that both those cases, the site's been designed appropriately and efficiently. And again, the Department of Transportation, which has jurisdiction over access point, it's found the site not in need of any additional permit.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions for this?
Just the queue numbers you cited, how did you establish those average and max queues?
For observations, but also we have looked at Poisson ratio, like a random arrival rates based on the trip generation. And at basically our existing or our proposed trip generation of 78 cars in an hour, there's a 95% certainty the queue would be 6 vehicles or less. So it kind of matches up. If we haven't did 100 cars coming to an hour, the 95th percentile queue would be expected to be about 14 or 15 vehicles or less. Again, clearly still within the, the portion of the site in which we have the queue. So in both cases, either from field observations or the calculations of random arrival rates, it would be within the queue distance.
And I just had one signage item in my memo, item 13, if item 13 in my memo could just be a condition to relocate, do not understand.
Remember being that issue? Yep, we're good with that.
Yep. That's still related with the new circulation, that sign.
Yes, and I mean, I would just comment, this circulation is so much better than the first plan we saw.
I know.
It was kind of a bollocks in the back there.
Right.
It's, and it's just much cleaner and a lot of storage, so.
Good, glad and happy. That all works. Any other questions for this witness?
Nope.
Carl, anything from you?
Nope.
Bob, you good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll go to the board and go online. I'm just going in the order I see you. So I've got Jeff shaking his head. Okay. Mike?
No,
Okay, thank you. Hannah? Nope, shaking her head. Melissa, you got anything for this witness?
Yeah.
That a no? Sometimes we only hear the last part of you online, but you know. Dennis, you got anything? Nope. I'm
Nothing
seeing-
here.
Sorry. I cut you off. Do I say that again?
I'm good. Nothing here.
Excellent, thank you. And then it's done. Yeah, Don's on, isn't it?
No, nothing.
Yeah, it's like, keep changing around when I move it around, if they pop on and get the order. Yeah, sorry. All right, let's come to the room. To the room.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. No.
Couple questions. The people who bring their cars into the tube, they stay in their car?
Correct, they stay in the car, they basically directed their, guided
Yeah.
onto the conveyor belt, and basically they stay in the car, and at the end of the tunnel, they're basically told to then
And
accelerate.
how long does it take to get through that tube?
This was a 90 seconds,
The 90 seconds?
right?
And just refresh my memory, back in December, this was like a kind of like a club. Thing where you buy
So you have a membership, so you have non-members, members, so I belong to one of them, it's $25 a month and you get unlimited washes.
So how does that factor in, the unlimited car wash? How does that factor in to the average in your chart from the state of trips per day and per hour?
So the membership model is not unique to this brand, so, it is widely seen in a lot of automated car wash brands, so when we do the counts on existing sites, it's basically baked into the counts we've done. In addition, what we found is when you do have, let's say, membership model, what you end up getting is more people that are in the area already driving by the site today. Like, people will join the car wash that is basically closest to them, so if they're driving, they happen to be running errands every Saturday in this area, they're usually not making a special trip to the car wash. When they're a member, they're like, oh, I'm picking up something in the, mattress, I'm going to the mattress store, I'll stop by the car wash since I'm already a member. So in terms of the difference in traffic on the road, it's very minimal, because they're basically, they're picking this site because it's convenient to them. So it doesn't really change the traffic on the road, and the IT basically accounts for that in the counts that we've done at existing sites. Because the membership model is widespread in this style of car wash.
And what's the average member, how often do they get their car washed? Is it once a week or 3 times a week?
I personally don't know that. I am a member someplace and I normally go at least 3 times a month.
This one is a question for the general.
Matt, why don't we just recall Matt Kennelly?
Yeah, sure.
Stand up. Matt, you're still under oath.
Perfect, everyone. Yes, so members on average visit the wash 2 to 3 times a month. 2 to 3 times a month. Non-members less frequently than that.
And yeah, you have no way of, you did testify on what your average membership was. I'm just trying to understand, like, if we have this state, this number that's been generated, right, that you use as a model, And that's for non-member clubs or non-member car washes.
No, that's based on automated car washes in general, and
Right.
again, in the most recent versions of these car washes, almost all of them offer some sort of membership model, so.
Including the one that we approved a couple of years ago on
Yeah.
well, they have a membership club. Yeah.
So it's basically, it's basically baked into the model.
I get a wash and wax before Christmas and I get a free wash on my birthday. So, okay, thank you.
Okay. That's great. I don't have anything for you either, no? No, everybody has anything. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. They always, I'm terrible. Need a sign. Please make the signs. Good.
Where those.
We've already had people in public. Like laugh now, like laugh. Public. All right, so anybody in the public, two people on here, if you want to make a question of this witness, please raise your hand now. I don't see anybody in the room. Would you want to raise your hand? All right, now we go. Thank you.
Are you able to bring your phones up in?
Oh, can we stop sharing? Oh, no, I guess we can leave that up.
Well, he's gonna bring up his,
That's why I was
the
leaving it
architectural,
flat,
so
right?
we'll make sure.
All
Bring yours up.
Next tab. You might have to move the black thing at the top.
Yep.
Okay.
Bear with me, please, one second.
Don't have a challenge down what it is. I don't have Mr. Dawson here today, I'm very stressed. But he's like, yeah. Well,
Doug will figure it out.
there we go.
Younger people,
Yeah.
or
No offense. Now, that's what you were.
so, no, Mr. Young, would you please provide the board with an overview of your professional background, education, so forth?
Sure, good evening, everyone. My name is Oliver Young, Young. I'm a principal at GK&A Architects. Our business address is 36 Ames Avenue in Rutherford, New Jersey. I hold a bachelor's degree in architecture from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute located in Detroit, New York. I practiced in the field of architecture for over 25 years. I've been a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey for just over 20 years. License is current, and I've testified at over 70 planning and zoning boards throughout the state and been accepted at all of them.
Anybody have any, any concern that we should be? Oh, yeah. What do you want to use?
He is accepted as an expert in the field of architecture.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Young, you have prepared the plans for the board this evening, is that correct?
That's correct. And I have up on the screen here just an electronic copy of the most recent architectural drawings that were submitted to the board, so I don't believe I need to mark them.
Yep.
As Mr. Wolf mentioned, the floor area of this building is 4,432 square feet. The overall footprint is 35 feet 4 inches wide by just under 126 feet long. It's actually two shifted rectangles, 21 feet by 125 feet, and then 15 feet by 125 foot, with an approximate 3.5 foot offset between them. The tunnel, which is on plan south, the south side of the building, is the 21 foot width. That takes up the entire length of the building. Then on the north side of the building is all the support for the tunnel. Going from left to right, which is west to east, we have an office, a bathroom, an employee break room, storage room, equipment room, and then the electrical room. And just for reference purposes, the tunnel entrance, which is on the left-hand side, is west facing Route 202, which the building sits approximately perpendicular to, and the tunnel exit faces east, the interior shopping center, parking lot, and circulation. I'm going to segue to the colorized elevations, which again, we had submitted to the board. In terms of map.
Can you just try and close that bookmark side there?
Yeah, absolutely. Bear with me 1 second.
Easier in young mouse.
Old mouse. I do not like the touchpad.
Yeah.
All right. Other one too?
Yeah, close outside.
Wow, let's close the left side.
Well, it's not gonna make it any bigger.
No, it's not.
Looks clean.
Please.
This is a colorized version of all 4 building elevations. In regards to massing, the south side, which is top of the plan, is 17 ft 6 inches to the top of the parapet. Then on the north side of the building, which is the bottom elevation, that's 18 ft 2 inches to the top of the parapet, with one section on the right-hand side bumping up to 21 ft 8 inches above grade. The east and the west sides, the short sides of the building, are where the parapet steps up and down that 8-inch differential. Additionally, we have a prominent blade element on the building on the west side. It's meant as a beacon and eye catcher for traffic from the road, and of course presents the opportunity for signage. You can see it on both the north and south elevations there. That tops off at 32 feet 6 inches above grade. We also have some 3D color renderings, which I do believe I need to mark. It's a rendering package of 4 sheets. Sheets R2, 2.0, R2.1, 3.0, and R3.1, dated March 18th, 2026. It's 2 existing conditions views that we took last year, and then we superimposed the site plan, the site development, and the building development.
Alright, so that was R 2.0, 2.1, 3.0.
And 3.1.
And do we want to mark that as one package exhibit or just each individually? There was
Hold on 1 second, I don't have 3.1, I was just checking, I knew we got a bunch of other ones.
Oh, yeah, we had handed those out.
Yeah. Alright, so since I don't have the one, let's do them separately, and then that way I can make a note that I need a copy of that one.
I might have an extra copy here
Yeah.
that I'd be happy to give you.
Okay, perfect. Alright, so we'll do A13 is R 2.0, A14 R 2.1, A15 R 3.0, and then A16 will be R 3.1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we marked this as A3 last time.
Yes, however, we have since updated those views based on the site plan.
Alright, so then give me that one,
Okay.
yep.
This is everything colorized, including the colorized.
Perfect.
So that's the old A3, but now you've got new ones, right?
Oh, are they on? Alright, perfect. So R 2.1 is A 13, 14, 15, A 16. Okay.
That's it?
Yep.
Great. The view you have on your screen right here is an existing street view looking from US 202, looking east towards the site. You'll see the existing restaurant building, that's sheet R 2.0. Moving to R 2.1, we've superimposed site development here. Landscaping, vacuums, and you'll see the building.
Was a blow that up.
I will do my best. Sure, bear with, please. So, bottom right.
Bottom right.
Yep.
White.
There you go.
Believe this captures enough of the view. I'm not going to try to pan around and lose the screen. This building itself is a sleek, modern design. We've paid significant attention to the detail on the building, and there's a tasteful yet catchy use of color. There's 2 prevalent materials on this building. The first being an EPIS system in a blue color, a white color, and then a gray corrugated metal finish. The second material we utilize is an exterior grade porcelain tile in both white and gray colors. Additionally, we have an orange accent band on the building. It's prevalent on all 4 sides of the elevations, and this morphs into a sun-shaped canopy over the tunnel entrance. the tunnel exit, as well as the office. With me 1 second, I'm gonna transition to the next view. This is our 3.0. We took an aerial view, again, from Route 202 looking east towards the site. And we superimposed the site development on this aerial view. The majority of glazing on the building is at the south elevation at the tunnel itself. Then we have one small glazing element at the north elevation where the employee break room is, as well as the office area. I'm going to segue into signage for the building. We have 6 total signs proposed for this building. All signs are internally illuminated except for one. The signage breakdown is as follows. Segue back to the colorized elevations. I think you can see them all here relatively well. On the south elevation, we have one Spark logo on the building itself. It's 15.8 square feet. Then on the blade element, we have a combined Spark logo and Spark car wash sign at 73.5 total square. Going around the corner towards the west elevation, facing the road directly over the tunnel, we have an additional Spark logo. It's the same size, 15.8 square feet, as the one on the south elevation. Moving to the next building elevation, the north elevation, on the blade element, which is the opposite side, we have an additional Spark, combined Spark S logo and Spark car wash sign on that side of the blade, again, 73.5 square feet. Then we have a very small sign at an area called the Spark Park. That's the one sign that's not internally illuminated. It's 9.3 square feet. What that sign does is that identifies the people that are on site. It's an area where people can take their mats, both carpeted and rubber mats, and they can take them for a wash, as well as they can grab extra bottles or towels as they need to. So that area is designated the Spark Park, and we have signage to identify that for patrons that are at the vacuum spaces. On the last elevation, which is the east elevation, it's the tunnel exit. It faces the interior shopping center circulation. We have a combined Spark logo and Spark car wash sign at 34.1 square feet. So that summarizes all the building signs. I'm going to touch upon one last thing with my testimony, then I'll be happy to answer any questions. I believe Mr. Kyle, you had some comments in regards to noise. The elements on site that produce noise are the vacuums. We have 2 rows of vacuums, plan north and plan south. Each row of vacuums has what's called a centralized vacuum producer, which supplies power to all the vacuums. Each vacuum producer, and we have 2 of them, has 2 turbines, so 4 total turbines. These are what are called variable flow diffusers. So it's not all on or all off. If there's only one vacuum being utilized, it's going to be a different level of the motor running and a different sound level than all vacuums running at the same time. I tend to equate it with a Dremel tool, which has the slide on it. We can go from 0 RPM to 6,000 RPM. So we've modeled that sound. We utilize an acoustical consultant that we work with on all these sites. We model that sound in the worst case scenario, which is all vacuums on at the same time, as well as cars being processed through the tunnel and the noise from the tunnel. And we found that this site will comply with the state noise regulations for the adjacent residential property, which is the worst case scenario during the daytime hours, because we are not operating during the nighttime hours where the levels drop. And we have a copy of that report. We'd be happy to provide it to you for your records. John, that covers all my direct. I'd be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
You have that report to give us now as well, or
I have-
we'll have to be provided later?
I do have one copy. I do have one copy of it, and I'd be happy to provide it to you, and I'll send it over electronically afterwards.
You want to mark it as-
Why don't we mark it as exhibit A17?
Maybe it can follow.
And I will point out that this report was commissioned back in September of 2025. That was the old site plan design, which utilized a couple additional vacuum spaces, and the building was closer to the adjacent residential property line. We comply in that state. The site plan, I think if we reanalyze with a couple less vacuums and the building shifted farther away from the residential, would give us a more favorable result. I do not think we need that base report. However, I'll defer to Mr. Kyle on this.
No, I mean, I would agree. The real concern is the residential property, so. If the building's farther away, and there's all factors, it would be better than what this.
Okay, so from our professionals. Do we just go straight to Jim or Kyle, do you have anything?
I'm okay, thank you.
I don't
Oh,
really
yeah,
have a question. Yeah, no, and he covered all the relief that they need. They do need waivers for,
Residential?
I don't actually know that we have a standard for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was really just, we provided a summary of the signage. I think the one that I missed was the non-illuminated Spark Park sign that's in the vacuum area. So,
Did you give us size for that one?
Yes, it's 9.3 square feet. We have dimensions, the width and the length of it on our architectural drawings. I don't recall those off the top of my head.
Right.
yeah, I don't necessarily have any questions about the architectural testimony.
Can you just fill us in on what was in your report, just for those of you who might not in that detail?
Yeah, so these,
What the relief they're asking for?
yeah, so the signage, so they're allowed 2 facade signs here. Our ordinance does permit additional facade signs where you face, corner lot on floor. If you have a parking area that you face, I mean, really here, you're almost facing 4 different directions, so. So they're proposing a total of 5 facade signs where 2 are permitted. And then they have the additional Spark Park sign in the vacuum area, so there's a total of 6 signs. Wall mounted signs, they have a 5-inch projection where we allow no more than 4. So there's relief required for that. The maximum permitted area of each permitted wall sign is 50% of the total linear footage of the facade to which they are affixed, or 100 square feet, whichever is less. So here, the total area of the facade signs, and I don't think I included the Spark Park, is 222 square feet, where basically 100 is permitted. And then these signs exceed some of the size requirements. They have a total area of 82.8. Sorry, let me just go through this here. Yeah, I mean, essentially they have signage on every facade.
Right.
So I think, I guess really it's a question of, since the ordinance does allow additional facade signage in portions of the building which face parking areas. I think reasonably the parking area to the east, obviously we would have potentially customers coming from the shops to the site that direction. I mean, in theory, somebody could come from the north as well. And the south. I mean, if you came out of the TD Bank, you could go right into this area. So I don't necessarily have a problem with the sign package proposed, because you can essentially access this site from all directions around it. And I think it's
Not unreasonable.
Yeah, it's not unreasonable to identify the building in that direction, because they don't have any other freestanding sign. The only freestanding sign is going to be at 202. So if you're within existing freestanding sign, they're going to take one position on that sign, is my name. So other than that, there's no other ground signage proposed within the site to help direct people to the car wash. So I don't think the signage that's proposed is unreasonable, because it gives them some site identification from those other directions that we know people will be coming.
You've got Spark Park in there.
Do I?
Yeah, under D.
Oliver said 6 signs and I only had 5, so I thought maybe I missed one, but.
Yeah.
Yes, but the total square footage you call out
is
encapsulates all.
222.
Yes.
One question, if we look at C in your report, so, and I didn't pull that section up, so maximum permitted area of each permitted wall mounted sign is 50% of the total linear footage, or 100 square feet, whichever is less. Is that 100 square feet per sign or
No,
total?
total.
That's total, okay.
Now, the blade. Is that almost, what's the technical word for the not the monument, not a monument, it's a freestanding sign. Isn't it almost like their own priest in some ways? Does it read that way to you or not? Do you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
it does, I mean,
they have different
architecturally, it doesn't meet the definition of a freestanding sign.
No, I understand it's
Yeah.
attached, but what I mean is like the effect is almost like a freestanding.
Well, effectively, and they.
Yeah, but
they
does
did
it,
that.
I mean, if it's still under the height, like, is it still under the height of the maximum height allowed? So, yeah, it's part of the architectural element.
No, I
Yeah.
get that, I'm just like, to me, like, even if that goes different, requirement.
I will say that, how big is the plaque that you're getting on the freestanding sign? Do you have?
Bear with me, I should take a look at the.
Get one of those smaller strips.
Because there's an awful lot of signs on that freestanding sign, so it's, you know, if you're whizzing by that at 55 miles an hour. So it might
It's
actually.
hard enough to read as it is, that big, that freestanding.
We don't have that measurement because we weren't able to obtain that. It's the top, I believe it's the top panel. on
It's
the
got one.
I believe we're getting the top.
But it was shown in your, what, in the first picture you had.
But it's not more than a 2x5 or a 2x6 or something like that. It's not very big, is the point. Right?
Does the freestanding sign sit on this property? Cause it's like on the other side
It's
of
on the edge. The other,
it's part of lot 6.
the previous one, showed it better, I think, than the elevator, than the.
This rendering view here, you can see it at the bottom of the
I
screen.
see it, is that part of lot 6?
Yes.
It sits on your.
Must be.
Yes, it's
We
on
believe
lot
it
6.
is.
Yeah, I see it.
If you
It's on
flip
lot
that to A11.
I believe you, yes or no.
2.0, I think showed it better.
Yeah, it's on lot.
Yes, it is. Yes. We can go to 2.0.
If you go to that, your there, you see here, Susan, it's right there on the right side.
Yeah, I know, I can see it in all the pictures.
You get the top one, you do get the biggest one, they don't have, you see, he's actually flipping on it. Main. Okay.
I think the other problem is the trees on the TD site have gotten significantly bigger. That sign is even more and more obscured now.
Yeah, that's my concern. I mean, I love the buffer.
What was that also, yeah. Okay, anybody, any of our board members online have questions for this witness? Jeff, you're the first on my little list. Anybody? Check this head again. Okay, Hannah? You have a question?
I did have one, maybe small question, just about like if you are ever offering like specials or deals, where would that signage be placed? Is that something that would be along the drive? Is that something you would ever put like freestanding like blades along the sidewalk? Is that, I'm just curious. I'm sorry if that's someone else.
I think your question is, do you have any temporary signs?
Right.
For promotions, there is occasionally temporary signage, and we would place that where it would make most sense to capture, you know, the eyes and attention of the public. So in this case, it would probably be, I would say, largely internal to the site to capture the shop, the rear shopping area and in the surrounding shopping area. I don't think it would be, you know, I think that would be the most likely place for it.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question. Okay.
We do have a whole signage ordinance section pertaining to temporary signs.
Mhm.
Put a condition that you'll comply with.
We'll comply with whatever.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I think kind of maybe, not to speak for you, but your main concern was things like flags and ban and blade things that temporary blades on the roadside, was it? You were thinking?
Yeah, I was just curious about like their intention and whether or not they were planning on doing that at all. Or yeah, if they had a plan based off of like their previous businesses where they had done it before.
Right. But as Kara said, we have an ordinance for temporary signs, so I'm with that.
All right, thank you.
I have one question.
Okay, sure, sorry, Barbara.
The sign in the front, we call it the parapet sign, I don't know how you refer to that.
We call it a blade element.
Blade element. This, and the signs on both sides of that? Okay. the sign will be the north side of that. Who would be able to see that sign? It seems like it's blocked by the building on the adjoining thing and it seems to me you almost have to be all the way on the other side of the circle before you have any. I guess it's a serve a purpose, I guess is my question.
Yes, it does serve the purpose to identify. We know that visibility in that direction isn't as good as from the south, however, we do believe there will be visibility and you will be able to see it while you're internal to certain areas of the shopping center as well. However, you know, we do understand the building has been pushed back.
Right. I'm gonna come back to the board. Mike, do you have any questions for this witness?
I do not.
Thank you, Melissa.
No questions.
Dennis,
No questions.
okay, and then Don,
No questions.
okay. Susan?
Who is responsible to, like, as far as owning and maintaining the existing Shops of Flemington sign if it's on your property? You're a leasee, so,
I don't know offhand.
okay, so, I guess, my concern is, the Shops of Flemington is, I need to word this in the form of a question, so it will come out at the end, as that. The Shops of Flemington has a lot of visibility issues, so your, probably the reason why you chose this site is because of the, you know, easy access, but it also, and it leads into the Shops of Flemington. So I guess my question is, who's responsible for maintaining the trees on your parcel so that they don't block the existing Shops of Flemington sign? Or are you willing to agree to some sort of additional to the resolution to make sure that any trees that are in this nice extra buffer are maintained enough so that the sign, the existing
Yeah.
sign isn't blocked?
So, yeah, so our landscaping will be our maintenance responsibility. Of course, that's what happens. You put in a vibrant planting with an irrigated system as you want to grow and create a nice streetscape. And that happens, but we understand the comment. We have no issue to, you know, part of our maintenance protocol is also to make sure we don't completely obscure.
Yeah, I want you to
the
be good
freestanding sign.
Yeah.
We don't like to even obscure our building, but you know, still want to be able to see into it, but really come up with a really nice landscape.
It's also in your best interest to have
Make it all
people see
look
that sign
good.
so they know where to turn to your
Yes.
business, so just please be good neighbors to
Yep.
your
Agreed.
fellow businesses. That's all.
Want to show anything for this witness? No, I don't have anything either, so thank you. Oh, public.
I do. Oh, wait, I have one other question.
Okay, come
I'm
on.
I'm not actually sure if it's the architects or I might have missed my opportunity with the
You
planner.
didn't miss any of
It
it.
is-
Well,
Oh,
our planner's next anyway.
okay, well, bike racks, is that your responsibility or planner? Okay,
Okay.
is there any bike racks planned for the, and if so,
We are proposing a bike rack on the site, yes.
and where
Where is that?
you'll address that later.
Well, we'll just,
Go back to.
why don't we just point it out now?
To the exhibit, yeah.
There is a bike
rack proposed right here, which you could access from the sidewalk that we added as well.
Oh, I was gonna go to the public. Anybody in the public online, if you're online, if you wanna raise hand and raise a question for this witness? Anybody in the room? Seeing none. Thank you. Before we move on, may I just remind me that our part of our new thing is no new business after 10, no new witnesses after 9:30.
I'm sorry, guys. Please go to the next one.
And in consideration of the fact that we then have to move on to discussion, which we're usually very chatty. We have to,
I think our planner's testimony is quite short, but
no, and I get it, but when our experience is, we're at least, We chat for at least half an hour, usually right on this. I'm open to polling the board members too. We want to stick
I think
to our
that's
new
part
rule.
of, and our new rule also is, are we
Yes,
willing
about
to go
discussion.
forward? Yeah.
Yeah, so I poll the board members and see if anybody is minded to keep going, or if we got a term I need to use.
Adjourn?
Adjourn, that's the word. Thank you very much.
I'm
the
willing
beginning
to
of the
hear the
next
testimony.
Right, I know my fade in and
Yeah, I would rather not to.
alright, somehow the people who, everybody's online. To let you know somehow how you're feeling. I'm gonna ask Jeff.
Let's take a straw poll.
Yeah,
I'll be signing off, but carry on.
yeah, Mike leaves at 10, so you would lose
Right,
him,
so that's
you would lose
two
him on a vote as well.
Because
he was
Susan
like,
can't
he
go
signed
ahead.
off.
Right.
Because he's DPW, so he needs to get up early in the morning. Dennis. Continue or adjourn?
I'm fine with continuing.
Okay. Jeff?
If we adopted new rules, I'd like for us to follow the rules.
Like that one, good, yeah. Hannah?
I'm fine with moving forward.
You're better than you
You know what? I
Okay,
understand there's people that have an issue and I understand it late night and so forth. If you want to just follow the rule. We can adjourn and we just come back and we'll bring Mr. McDonald back.
Well, I think, John, you and Karen need to talk about the
Just
merger
gonna
issue.
say, we can
Let's
talk
get
about
that
that.
cleaned up.
Yeah.
We're coming back anyway, so that probably makes sense.
then you'll have planner and then wrap up and then we'll have discussion and vote.
Yep.
And I can
Let's
actually,
say,
does,
And
I
then
think,
to
I have my
what?
paper, so I can actually listen to your December and be happy to put it.
And Justin will be back, so we'll have plenty of people. You're not having us think about it while we're super tired.
Yep.
And we appreciate your, and certainly appreciate your consideration on that. And also appreciate all your testimony from everybody today, all your answers, all our questions, and point today. Look forward to moving forward.
Okay.
What I do,
On the agenda, we have to extend.
Yeah,
Well, we're considered extended till June, just so we don't.
Number one.
You know, so,
Yeah,
just in terms of time, what would the next meeting be, please?
April 10th, isn't it?
14th,
Is it? No, it's the 13th,
Tuesday, the 14th.
April the 14th, sorry, it's the Tuesday.
Tuesday the 14th.
You good, Joe?
Checking now.
Friday.
while
Bring
John,
cookies. Yeah, bring cookies.
while John's checking his
Yeah.
schedule, I would say if there's any other questions you have of any of the other witnesses,
Do it now.
let's ask and then let them know if they need to bring them back.
That is a good point, because usually we wrap up with any comments and questions for any of them. So anybody, any board members, if you've got, or any members of the public have any further thoughts, because we don't want to have these people bring these witnesses back, they just want to bring their planner back next time. So let's do them the service of raising anything we have right now. Dennis has a hand raised, so Dennis, got something?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know the number of days of operation. Is it 6 or 7 days?
7 days.
But, 7 days. And so I'd like for someone to confirm that the amount of water usage, if I did my math right, 10,796 times 365 days is almost 4 million gallons a year. Could someone confirm that for next time?
Yes. We'll confirm.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff, you have your hand raised, you have something?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the question of lots, that this legal question that was being discussed, I just want to make sure that there's I want to make sure there's testimony at the next hearing to answer that question, whether it's the attorney providing that information as a brief, or it could be the planner's testimony, but I just want to make sure that we have something on the record for that.
We'll deal with that offline and then make sure we have an answer and or testimony at the next meeting, Jeff.
Thanks.
Perfect, thank you guys. Anybody else on the board have anything before we release these witnesses? I don't think so.
Can I ask a question of Melissa? regarding the environmental commission's review of the site.
We viewed it at our last meeting. There should have been a,
Review the landscape plan, and were you satisfied with the quality of trees and
we did review it. There should have been a report sent over. If it was not received, I can double check and see why it wasn't sent.
I didn't see a new updated report from you guys.
Okay.
if you're all okay with the type of trees they've selected, that they were native New Jersey, blah, 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 blah.
With the trees, I believe we deferred to Shade Tree to confirm that they were the correct trees, but we were happy with the additional plantings, especially the excessive tree.
Yeah. Or is that the tree, is that fall under the planner or?
That'd be the engineer, man.
That would be you?
Yeah.
You're looking up with the date, it's the 28th.
Oh, the one, we can't do the 14th. It's the 14th or the 28th is set right now.
We're just taking.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, John, you're right. It's
We're both in the same place, or no?
mm, yeah, I mean, I figure that out.
Some special event to go.
No. It's another municipal meeting that John is working on that case, in Cohaston, but I'll figure that out on my end.
We'll figure it out on this end too.
Do you wanna let us know? We'll say you're on the 14th right now, but if you want it all day 28th, so either one.
Yeah, why
You can just
don't we
confirm
announce
when
for
you
the
have-
14th, and you guys will figure out what it is and,
Yeah. He's like,
Come on, John, this is nothing to do. We deal with this all the time.
It's only 2 cases. That's an easy
Wait.
enough.
I had one silly question.
okay, Hannah, go.
Sorry. I remember us talking about it in December, vaguely. And since we've had that fun snowstorm, did we ever determine whether or not snow was being they had permission where they would put snow?
I think we had testimony in that regard.
Yeah,
but
I couldn't.
we-
Sorry, I couldn't find if I wrote it down. So
You wanna nail it right now?
Yeah, so we had limited snow storage areas before. Now that we've increased this landscape area,
Yeah.
specifically page north there, that would be the primary snow storage area. on
Okay.
site.
Okay, thank you.
And that was just to the north of, just give me a,
North of the, and you could call it the entrance drive aisle.
thank you.
Okay. Just confirm as soon as you can.
Okay, so
Right on.
did we make a formal announcement carrying this to the?
Not yet, hold on one second. North of the entrance, is up there. Okay, so the Spark application will be adjourned to the board's next meeting of April 14th without any further notice. You've given us an extension through June. And we will chat about that one issue.
Yep.
And anything else that needs to be addressed.
Terrific.
Thank you so much for your.
All right, everybody.
See you next time. Thank you.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Hearing us out tonight.
Oh, good. Very good.
Almost.
Like to hear everything that's.
Understood.
Oh, you.
What year did you graduate from Rensselaer? Oh, we missed each other by like 8 years.
Oh, you are, yeah.
Right in here.
Yeah, I know. All right, well, we've got a couple of things you want to clear out.
Great, thanks, John.
I guess.
See you next time. Thank you. Have you had a flash drive or anything? Did you take it?
We got
I
the
did.
flash drive.
We've had
Thank
them left here before.
Thank you very much.
I'll come here on the 14th and then go file my taxes.
Okay.
It's gonna happen, I know.
Let's leave it to the last minute.
One of them. I'm one of them.
We're not ready.
Oh, Lord.
You must be getting that.
Yeah, right, those are the only people that file early.
Yeah. No, you can like forget it down, he's like nagging everybody. Did you think I need your 10?
You're learning.
Yeah, he's good at it, he's done, hold down. Okay, right, we'll move on on to item 10 on the agenda. We do actually, I actually have two items today. So one thing that we have, which we're doing this way because I totally dropped the ball on Worksville. Worksville came in last year, and then they had to wait for a tell me about DOT approval, and they had no idea how long that was going to be. So we said, but we don't want to leave it to being an open-ended thing. So come back on the 24th of March, which they remembered and I did not. So they came back, so they chatted to us, to Cara and I, and explained what the update was, that they're still looking for more time, which they thought maybe another 2 months. They're waiting for the. Would you speak to it? Because maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
Yeah, I think they wanted a month,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they said they were gonna, update us in a month, come back, or let us know they need more time, then we can update the board again.
And I can shed some light.
Yeah, please.
That property has a very limited frontage. It's a flag lot.
Yeah.
Not enough frontage to comply with DOT's edge clearance inside a property line to build a driveway.
Right.
So it's a waiver. They're waiting on DOT to give them the waiver to build their road.
Right.
I'm gonna reach out and ask just for something in writing to the board saying, it appeared on such and such a date, here's the status. We'll check back in a month and we'll let you know where we are. They have to renotice regardless, so it's not an extension of notice or hearing or anything. It's basically just, we had said, we've been carrying this now for, it seems like years. Are we gonna withdraw it or are you gonna proceed? So I'll just get them to do something for the file.
Yeah, so just so that the board know they did
Correct.
they remembered the date, we did not, so we're on them, that they came along and that's what they told us, so. In the beginning, they approached us, yeah, and so we just said we would pass on the update that they gave us through the board. We'll just wait until they tell us, hopefully it won't be too long, yeah.
I'll check in.
But again, they're waiting for DOT, so they can't do anything. And then my second item, I just want to remember, it will now. Well, you need to think about, there was, I put it to you in that. Following on from our discussion about the HPC list last time, we needed, one thing we agreed was that we were going to get a list together so that we could just approve those items that don't need a public hearing, the changes of designation. And then also we need to start to think about a hearing for that. Maybe we'll talk about it next time about what we're going to do, because we have to decide whether we're going to do a joint hearing, how we're going to run the specifically the one that needed. We need to do a public hearing for the Union Hotel change with downgrade.
There was one other.
A couple others there.
Yeah.
And a few others, you're right. So I want to get that. I don't want to. I don't want to forget that, so I think we need to just think about putting that on the agenda for discussion or how we're going to run it.
Yeah, I'll reach out to John Hatch, Dennis, and myself had traded some emails, and I think John, Dennis, your view is John has a pretty good handle on what needs to be done. So I think we just need to coordinate for a hearing date and preparation of the materials that the board will need to review and that we need to have on file in advance of that hearing.
Right, and make sure we notice it, because there was something when we did the joint meeting last time as well, that we had to do, everybody had to notice and make sure the people were notified with all that, we have to make sure all that's done correctly, right?
Correct. And I think that we'll have to coordinate with John Hatch on that.
Right, so maybe you can report back at the next meeting, we can either do the letter for the rest of them, because I think we were gonna pull a letter together somehow, right?
Well, I think after John reviewed it, it was pretty clear to him which ones needed to go to a public hearing, which didn't. I mean, do you want that for the board's information or?
Well, I think what we talked about is the ones that don't need the public hearing.
Right.
Just something formal from the board to say, yes, we agree that these are updated and you can put them on your website. I thought it was just good to have something dated and.
I sent something over.
Just a quick.
Take a look at it.
Okay.
So that they're clear and it's designated, and then, so we've got some sort of point of focus for the future. I think that would be good.
I said that exactly.
Yes, it's not recorded, it didn't get done.
There you go.
All right, so then the other, all right, does anybody else have any other chair items they'd like to raise, being as it's not even 10 o'clock yet?
It's not a bad thing.
I know it's
I
good.
just had a question. Kara, anything new with the circle sign?
No. Nope. I can
Uh,
reach out.
I can talk about that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
Oh.
in executive session.
Can't do it.
Yep.
Sorry, Dennis.
We can go into executive session if you want.
The last time.
Do we want to do the bills and stuff first though, and then do that? You want to do an executive session quickly for that? Yeah, let's do that then. I'll move on to the bills then. So these were distributed, right? Yeah, because I did this online. I did it online, and you've made a note of these, but what I'm going to say for the record is purchase order 2600331 is a Corsini purchase order, so that's council. And then 2600, no, it's not the, it's on 2600270. There's it's your invoice 8196, and it seems to be there for council. So I just thought we could double check, so it all looks different online. So I just wanted to state that. If anybody else caught any other bits, let me know.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the Corsini?
It's 2600331 is related to Corsini. So I don't, it would be extremely rare that he would be
Karen, what was our invoice, 8190?
I said 8196 was your, see, this doesn't, see, because I did it on, and now I wanted the paper, and now I've got the paper, and now it's all on it. And that's
That should have gone to the governing body.
Yeah, that's me. The rest of them are PB. I made a note, PB, and then that one, that 8196 numbered from you is council.
Correct.
So other than that, everything else is planning board in that packet, as far as I can figure it out. Anybody else catch anything? So we have a motion to audit the bills with that, those are ours except for those two noted.
I'll motion.
Thank you, Hannah. And then, can I get a second on that, please?
I'll second.
Second.
Melissa was first, sorry. All right, we
Okay.
call roll on that, right? Yeah.
Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Campion,
He's
Oh,
got
he's
it.
gone already.
Ms. Giffen,
Yes.
Ms. Weitzman,
Yes.
Ms. Swingle,
Yes.
Mr. Schob,
Yes.
Mr. Dashna.
Yes.
Mr. Eckel,
Yes.
thank you.
All right, thank you. So with that being said, do we ever need to go into executive session, Cara?
If we want to, yes, so
Yes,
we'll go
please.
into executive session to discuss potential litigation regarding the Flemington Circle development. We will not be taking any formal action during executive session. And we will not be returning to public unless anybody feels otherwise.
No.
Okay.
No, we will close the meeting. We won't make
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, so I do have one attendee that's in. I'm going to let you know, Mr. Peter Glenos. I have to bump you out. So good night.
Alright, well,
Thank
we
you
need
for joining.
a vote in a second.
Oh, sorry, do
Yeah,
the vote
let's
for.
do
Right.
Engelhardt moves to go into executive session
And not return to public, yep.
and not return to public.
I'll second.
Hannah seconded.
Yep.
We do just do
We could do it all.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
It seems like very positive. All right, Peter, I'm going to drop you off. I'm going to say thank you for joining us. See you next time, hopefully. I dropped him off, and I also have to
As one of the owners of the property,
Oh.
one of the three families,
stop the recording. Can I
but
just
not,
listen to that?
not in the majority, the 2 to 3.
I have to close it, don't I?
Interesting.
you have to lock the webinar.
Yeah, now remind me where that is.
It's under participants,
Oh.
the bottom there. Should be some dots.
Under the participant section, the dots at the bottom. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm getting there. Under the panelists. There it is. lock webinar, right? Lock webinar.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So that's locked. And I have to stop recording too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, stopping recording.